This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we're ending the year with over-the-top action, one-liners, and glorious explosions. That's right. It's time for our 90s action movie tournament.
Geek Boner.
John Bellotti Jr. joins us to help whittle 32 movies down to the one greatest action movie of the 90s, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, December 26th, 2022.
This is Frank Grillo. You know me. But who are you? Are you the discerning, sophisticated type of person who enjoys all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news? Pop culture references, witty banter? Me neither. I'm just here for the dick jokes.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We chop it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We chop it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Oh yeah, get pumped, listener. Hello and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero, TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose.
Jock and Nerd.
My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
Oh, we got a bunch of great people joining us. Of course, joining us as always, he's both the bee's knees and the cat's meow. It's Rug Boy. I don't know what those mean.
Merry Christmas, Hansa Quantica, whatever. Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Heiny Ho, whatever holiday you
Jumpy.
celebrate.
Merry Fishmas, everyone.
Yes.
Also joining us, special returning guest, friend of the show. He is the admin of our Facebook group, Jock and Nerd Nation. He is a talented illustrator. He is our resident opinionated New Yorker.
Just don't call him a Godzilla guy.
He does not like, he is not just a Godzilla guy. It's John Bellotti Jr. How you doing, Bellotti? I'm never going to live that down.
No, I only like Godzilla and Kung Fu movies, I think. No,
Right,
just
right.
Godzilla. When I talk to Tony, I'm a well-rounded, interesting individual who likes many different things.
It's not just Godzilla. It's
But Imran
camera.
just puts you right in that box.
It's
Right,
Ultraman.
With all the other Godzilla fans, that's
Bruce
it.
Lee movies. It's a bunch of things that make up the sketch that is John Bellotti. Last time you were on, Bellotti was also a great show. It was episode 445 earlier this year when we did our 80s action movie tournament. Whole lot of fun. Give a shout out for that one. And now you're back because, as promised, listener, we are here. You saw the title. We are ready to do our 90s action movies tournament. And another great reason that today we're recording Monday, December 26th, to do the show today. It is the Jock's birthday.
Yeah!
Happy birthday, Anthony.
Happy birthday, Anthony. How old are you today?
Oh, man.
Too old?
I'm 35 now.
Oh, God
Oh, my
bless
God.
you. Yes.
Jesus.
He's getting there.
When we started this show, what was I, 28, 29, 27?
Wow.
I can't remember.
Yeah, that was
Holy.
over 7 years ago.
You could make fun of me being a millennial and be like that you're a young guy. And now, like, being a millennial is not a young guy
It's
anymore.
not anymore.
So is Anthony as old as we were when we started the show?
Oh, maybe.
Possibly. That's really weird
old
to
are you?
think about.
How old are you, Imran?
46. Almost.
Around that time. Almost.
Listen, every year you get older, and Imran gets his wings, or an Imran gets happy. I can't. It's you getting closer to the club.
Every day a gray pube shows up on your nutsack.
Yes, a white pube pops.
It's a
every
happy
year.
day for Imran.
Yes.
Well, what's good about my age is every year I get older, but the girls stay the same
Oh,
age.
you son of a bitch! Yeah, see, he's still rocking it like that. So, Joe, anyways, it's your birthday, Anthony. You are the leader. You are the host of the tournament. Explain
Yay.
how we got here. What are we doing? I'm turning it over to you.
Thank you. You're far too kind to let me have the reins once in a while.
It's your birthday. You do
Well,
whatever you want.
Birthday
Thank you,
powers.
Yes. It's like that movie. It's my party, and it's my birthday, and I could cry if I want to.
Yes.
I forget what movie that was. It was the bad Home Alone ripoff. Anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about 90s action movies, and the reason we got here is, we did an 80s action tournament, which I copied off of Screen Junkies. So this is clear. I didn't think of this at all, but we decided to do it for the 80s. We had so much fun. We're like, we got to do it with the 90s. But this time we're making it bigger. We're making it better. We have 32 movies in this tournament. And if you go back and listen to our Patreon where we picked out the movies, whatever date that was, and Ron, you can put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
People can listen and see what movies we picked, why we picked them. But it's 32 movies this time. And like I said, we had so much fun with the 80s. The 80s were a bunch of cult classics. The 90s, you roll into the 90s, and it's a little bit of a different era. You still got like the holdovers from the 80s. But the 90s is like that in-between era between the cult classics of the 80s and then the big-budget superhero, blockbuster, CGI fests of the 2000s. So you have this like little pocket in the 90s with some really interesting movies. The old guard with like Schwarzenegger and Stallone and freaking Van Damme. And then you got like some of the new guard in this 90s era with Keanu and Nicolas Cage and Wesley Snipes and Banderas and Will Smith. So there's a good mix of stars here. Just before we get into the movies and the rules, just like opening thoughts on the 90s, guys. What are your thoughts on the 90s? How do they compare to the 80s?
I got so much to say when you ask that.
Let's hear it, guys.
First of all, this is before franchise filming became the way to make money. This was when you used to studios used to back stars, like Hollywood stars. Like you would have like Schwarzenegger or Stallone or Van Damme, and that would be the reason to make the vehicle, the movie. Okay,
yeah.
So it wasn't like, okay, we have this thing that we know is going to work. They threw a lot of shit at the wall to see what would stick, and you have a lot of different kind of movies, but even though they have the same thing in common, like you can take this whole list, and they're all like not the same movie. Like some of them are very similar, but they're not like cookie cutter comic book films or franchise films that are like really we get fatigue out of them these days. These were all like had their own spin and their own. Some of them were more like real movies, and some of them were like more like B movies. And there's such a huge room to breathe in between those two. So it was an interesting time for movies, and it wasn't relying on CG. There was a lot of practical effects. The script still mattered. The story still had to be like interesting and good. And you didn't know how exactly it was going to end, but yeah, it was a great time for film.
I mean, you're right. We've talked about the 90s all the time, and this is like the height of original storytelling, original IP. There's like no franchises, no adaptations, just new shit. But I had a great time rewatching, and in some cases watching these for the first time. I did notice, you start to notice a lot of patterns. Like there's a lot of terrorists in these movies, and all different kinds of terrorists.
Die Hard ripoffs.
Yes, the Die Hard clones rule, and it's like majority of them may have been like Arab terrorists, but you also got like Russian terrorists, you got German terrorists, you got homegrown terrorists, just terrorists all over the place. And then, after 9/11, you don't see that kind of movie anymore. People stopped thinking terrorist movies were fun to make, obviously. So I thought that was interesting.
You guys kind of nailed it all. I mean, to me, like the 70s and 90s were like the top of like Hollywood, in terms of movie making, directing, acting. And after the 90s, it's kind of been all downhill, in my opinion. But remember, too, the 90s is when we also got CGI for the first time. And that completely changed the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's interesting because the 80s movies we all, when we did that tournament, the 80s movies were very, very practical, right? Very hands-on, I guess you could say. Like it was all done in camera for the most part. And in the 90s, it's like they took those goofy concepts and gave them like this computer-generated sheen on top of, not all of them. I mean, not a lot of these films on our list are not CGI heavy at all. But again, it's hard to ignore the elephant in the room because there was no CGI in the 80s. So stuff wasn't being done in camera as much as it used to be.
But you still have great stunts, great stunt work, great explosions, great moments where you see the stunt guy in the shot, that stuff that carries over from the 80s.
Where you're like, wait, that's not Arnold.
Yeah, and you love all of it. And
or you see the dummies.
Yeah, or you see the dummies. So it is.
But even internationally, the like Hong Kong, Japanese movies, Australian movies, everybody was firing on all cylinders in the 90s. I mean, it was unbelievable. Like like what was coming out all over the world at that time.
Well, you had Hong Kong movies broke in the 90s here in America.
Jackie Chan broke over in 95, I think it was, in 94.
Yeah, like huge over here. So the Hong Kong element, John Woo became prominent in that era.
Yeah,
right.
Then you had all of this kind of like music video directors that had a really glossy way of doing things.
Michael Bay, he was one of
coming into the fold and really elevate. I mean, you want to shit on Michael Bay all you want, but he really elevated the cinematography of some of these things.
He contributes to the genre for sure.
Yeah, so there was a lot of great stuff, and then you had people like Ridley Scott stepping in. You had Cameron coming in. You had like masters of the genre kind of coming in and flexing their muscles as well. So lots of interesting stuff going on.
But that is interesting because the 90s that's when it became standard that a director would have a bunch of music videos and then he'd get a big movie, right? Like everybody took that route, and that was the route. I don't think it's the same anymore. There's no more music videos. I don't know how you break in anymore.
Yeah, you guys kind of highlighted a lot of the things I wrote down, and when I was rewatching and watching the first time some of these movies is Die Hard ripoffs, proliferation of that, some old 80s crossovers, but carryovers, but then a lot of self-awareness in these movies. CGI starts to get introduced, and then the new stars. I mentioned that earlier, like Keanu, Cage, Brandon Lee, Tom Cruise, Will Smith. You get Jackie Chan and Jet Li coming over.
Yeah.
Snipes, Banderas. So then you have the old guard and all that stuff. So a lot of the things you mentioned, we have all the big names in this. As some of those guys are then Schwarzenegger, Harrison Ford, Sylvester Stallone, Seagal, Gibson is in this. As far as directors too, a lot of names you might go, oh man, these are action movies. Probably didn't get the best directors, but you got Cameron in here, you got Brian De Palma, Andrew Davis, McTiernan's here, John Woo, Catherine Bigelow, Michael Bay, Paul Verhoeven, Richard Donner, Roland Emmerich, Tony Scott, the Wachowskis, Wolfgang Peterson. So all the directors are here too.
Great directors.
Yeah, and
a better crop of directors, actually. And in fact, if you think about it, the 80s films were all about the biceps, right? The big muscles.
Yep.
And Stallone always cites the 89 Batman movie as the downfall of him and Schwarzenegger's run. Because he basically said once you have a rubber suit with abdominals on it, he said you don't need us anymore. Because now you can just make a suit with like fake abs.
You can blame Bruce Willis in Die Hard also for changing the body type.
Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon, he was slender. Brandon Lee, these were just, and it became more like auteur, like more director focused and actor focused.
Very stylish.
Very stylish. Yeah, they became more unique films instead of like a run of the mill action movie.
So we posted the list of the movies in our Facebook group, and there may be a reward after in News from the Nation if they guess the top 4. But for the listener, if you check the show description, the full list of movies are going to be there, just so you have that as reference.
Cool. Yeah. And what was kind of neat is when we picked all these movies, we didn't know that we were doing this, but we got at least one movie from every year.
Oh, wow.
We have good villain actors too. So this is the first time name actors were playing villains. So you have rattling off some of these names. You have Ronnie Cox, Michael Ironside, Robert Patrick Swayze, Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa, Tommy Lee Jones, Dolph Lundgren, Lance Henriksen, Wesley Snipes, Lithgow, Art Malik, Ron Silver, Jeremy Irons, Powers Booth, John Voight, Ed Harris, Nicolas Cage, Gary Oldman twice, John Malkovich. These are all villains.
Dennis Hopper.
These are all big name actors playing villain.
Yeah.
What's that? Hopper? Yeah.
Dennis Hopper. Yeah.
Yep.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
So this is, now this is also the era where they wouldn't just cast some no-name to play the villain. They'd actually have someone. And that, I think a lot of that has to do with Die Hard and that performance by
Alan Rickman. Yeah.
Alan Rickman as Hans Gruber. Yeah. So we'll do some fun facts at the end after the tournament's over, because there are some fun little quirks here with the movies. I just want to, before we get into the tournament, I want to ask you guys, of all the names in this tournament, who do you think has the most entries?
Van Damme?
I feel like Van Damme was going to be my first guess.
Van Damme is correct. Van Damme has 4 movies in this tournament.
Wow.
And that was only a sampling, because Van Damme was making movies like he was making fucking hotcakes in that day. He was just fucking cranking them out.
It was not easy also to choose these 32 movies, I remember.
Actually, I'll do a couple of the fun facts right now. There's one actor that is a villain in 2 movies in the same year. Can you guess that?
Gary Oldman.
Powers Booth?
Gary Oldman, yeah.
It's Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman is a villain. Powers Booth is actually a hero and a villain in these movies.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's right.
But there are actually 3 other movies that are like that, where they're the hero and the villain in
The same.
Oh, yeah,
actor.
you're right.
the same in the same decade. So you have any guesses on those?
Michael Ironside's in Starship Troopers and in he's a bad guy in one of the
Yeah, well, that's another one. I was thinking
That's a
of
good one.
like the lead ones, but yeah, that's a good one. By the way,
shit.
Gary Oldman's the villain in Fifth Element, which is in the tournament, and Air Force One.
Nick Cage has got to be one of those dudes.
Nicolas Cage
Yeah.
is a hero in one movie and a villain in another.
Yeah.
There's 2 more.
I got to pull up the list.
Don't pull up the list.
Dolph Lundgren? I don't
Dolph
know.
Lundgren
Yes,
is one of them.
Dolph.
Universal Soldier and Showdown in Little Tokyo.
In what else?
I was going to say.
Simon Says.
Oh, Snipes.
Snipes. Blade.
Oh, shit.
And
That's right.
Demolition.
And then Demolition
Oh,
Man.
yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow, wee, wow.
Wow.
Wow, wow, wee, wow is correct. And for what it's worth, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 directors that are on here twice.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Holy shit. I didn't realize that.
Any guesses?
Cameron. That's one of them.
Cameron's one of
That's
them.
one of them.
McTiernan? John?
Nope.
No. Scott?
Nope. He was only got one.
Not
Those are those
Richard
guys.
Donner.
Nope.
No. It's the guy that does all the Van Damme movies. Who directs the Van Damme?
Peter Himes. Yeah, he's
Peter
got 2 on here.
Himes, too, yes.
Sudden Death and Time Cop.
There you go.
Oh, I forgot he did something
yeah.
with
There's a couple more though.
Emmerich? No.
Nope.
Is that a Brett Ratner?
Nope.
No. I mean, you can use a little Ratner as you can get.
It's not Robert Rodriguez. He just has the
Nope.
one.
No,
Usually
he's got the one.
One of them is Paul Verhoeven, Starship Troopers and Total
shit.
Recall.
Oh.
Verhoeven, that's
I
right.
forgot Verhoeven did Starship Troopers.
Yep.
Shit.
There's a couple of the guys you've named already. Michael Bay. He's got Bad Boys in the Rock.
Oh, shit.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hong Kong.
Did I say
next
Bay?
one.
John Woo.
John Woo's
Woo.
in
son
here.
of a
Hard Target and
Yeah.
Face Off.
Yeah.
And there's one you wouldn't have thought of. You're probably not going to guess this. Andrew Davis has 2 movies on here.
Oh, Under Siege and The Fugitive.
And The Fugitive. Right. That's,
So-
yeah. Oh, my God.
Those are some of the fun little things
That's fun.
that I came across as I was doing these movies. Is
Oh.
6 directors that are on here twice. No,
Wow.
and that's the most. No one else has. No one has 3.
So they're doing 2 movies a year.
They're doing at least 2 in the 90s.
2 a decade. 2 action movies.
I mean, 2 in a
action
decade.
movies in the 90s.
I'm drunk already. Fuck.
Great.
Can't
Perfect
think.
place to start.
Great. So that means we're going to start. And
All right.
as mentioned earlier, this is 32 movies. So there's no first round buys. I was thinking about announcing the top 4 seeds, but I don't want any chicanery going on because I know there's one guy that's been drinking a little bit that's going to have some clear chicanery. So I don't want to set up the top 4 seeds and then have that person gunning for them. So I'm not going to announce the seeds. We're just going to announce the matchups live. I'm going to announce the matchups, and we'll do best 2 out of 3 with Rug Boy, John Bellotti Jr., and Imran. We'll rotate who's going first, second, third. Same rules as last time, guys. Are your bodies ready for this?
Oh,
Well, I think we should explain to the people that this isn't about which movies are the best action movies. This is the movies that we want individually to be, that we vote for.
Yes, this is the best in whatever criteria that person has as being better, whether it's they like it better, they're fucking around, they just think it's a better action movie, they like the director, whatever it is.
Or they're just trying to make Tony mad. It's one of any of those things.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. With that in mind, we are starting off with the number 1 seed, guys.
Oh.
The number 1 seed, and I'm going to announce the matchup first, then I'm going to pick the person.
Okay.
I'm doing it differently. this
Okay.
time.
Do we have
little
a
different.
bumper or a stinger for this?
All right. Yeah, here. We'll do this. Here we go.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
There we go. So we're going to start off at the top with the number 1 seed, The Matrix.
Oh, shit.
Oh, by the way, these are ranked according to Letterboxd. This isn't me.
Oh.
This is the Letterboxd rankings,
Okay.
and Letterboxd has number 1 seed, The Matrix. against the number 32 seed Navy SEALs. John Bellotti Jr., you fought for Navy SEALs. It's only right that you get the first pick in the Matrix versus Navy SEALs. Does Navy SEALs have any chance against the Matrix?
In my mind, yes.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I wanted to be a Navy SEAL commando. I did not want to be a computer hacker after I watched The Matrix.
Does that mean you're picking
Therefore-
Navy SEALs?
No, I'm not going to pick Navy SEALs. I don't know. I'm not going to be upset about it because, first of all, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction, you son of a bitch. And the other reason is The Matrix, even though it is a little too similar to another movie in our tournament, I will have to pick The Matrix because Navy SEALs is a fine-ass film. I understand you guys don't appreciate the beauty of it and what it is, which I don't know what it is, but it's Top Gun for Navy people, for frogmen. So, my pick's The Matrix.
Wow. Matrix up 1-0. And for the record, Bellotti did that perfectly, guys. If you can keep doing this the entire tournament, you make a pick, you tell us why.
Okay.
Oh,
Next
Hey,
up.
thanks, Tony.
Yeah, you did that very well. It's like you did this before. You've done this before.
Maybe
Next
I
up,
have.
Rug Boy, The Matrix or Navy SEALs? What you
Let
got?
me think about this long and hard. It's The Matrix. Come on. The Matrix. It was a groundbreaking film. The only ground that Navy SEALs broke was, I don't know. Charlie Sheen's like diving into a river. I don't know, off of a car. That was the only thing that was groundbreaking in that film. So it's pretty easy.
Matrix moves on. For the record, Navy SEALs, I already said this on a previous show, but I got to say it while Bellotti's here because I don't want to talk shit behind the man's back. I want to do it to his face.
Oh, thank
Navy
you.
SEALs is awful, man. What the hell?
I mean, come on, you didn't enjoy them ripping off the Top Gun sports scene with
It's
golf?
Delta
With
Force
golf.
meets Top Gun,
Yes,
except
it is.
worse.
Yes. You get the great Charlie Sheen line to the girl where she goes, "What are we going to do?" And he goes, "Hopefully each other if all things go straight." It's just Charlie Sheen being a dick and getting people shot.
It's even weirder watching that now and be like, oh, this, like, Charlie Sheen was always an asshole. They just
Yeah.
had him on TV being like, they just had him playing himself in this movie in 1990.
It is great military porn movie, though. I'll give it that
Oh,
much.
it's just a recruitment poster. That's all
Yeah,
it is.
it pretty
It's
much
a moving
is.
recruitment poster.
All right, guys. Well, the Matrix moves on. No surprises there. The next one might be a little bit of a tougher matchup. The 16 seed. Oh, by the way, I didn't explain the rules for the listener on what kind of movies we picked. We opened it up to superhero movies. We are excluding like crime thrillers and things like that, but superhero movies were allowed in this tournament. So this explains why this next one is in it. The 16 seed Blade versus the 17 seed Desperado. Imran, give us a pick.
Oh.
Two new age heroes, Banderas, Wesley Snipes.
Oh man, yeah, Desperado with like the Robert Rodriguez getting big after El Mariachi and seeing that style. That was something that just fit in perfectly, with like the Tarantino movies of the era. Banderas is badass in that movie. You got Selma Hayek. But man, Blade kind of being the official kind of start to the MCU, the second movie they ever made after Howard the Duck, the movie that gets it right, despite all the shitty blood effects. Wesley Snipes is great. The fighting is great. Look, we're running this superhero comic book TV show. I'm going to pick Blade. I'm giving it to Blade.
Blade up 1-0. John Bellotti Jr. What you got?
This one's not as tough as I thought it would be. When I was a kid, Desperado was cool, but I've grown to really dislike Robert Rodriguez as a director. Like, really dislike his work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, I was just watching Once Upon a Time in Mexico on Pluto TV earlier, and I was just reminding myself why I don't like him. And but again, when I was a kid, Desperado was awesome, right? Two gorgeous people in the leads, and mostly Salma Hayek. Actually, that is the movie that gave us Salma Hayek, right? But I'm going to go with Blade because Blade is a tighter movie, and it did, it gave us Wesley Snipes as Blade. And to me, it's just a tighter movie, and I could rewatch it a lot more than Desperado and not like wince as much when I watch it. that makes any sense.
Imran, play the clip.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate up
You made it uphill.
It's the only clip we got from this 90s tournament. Played. Moving on. I agree with this pick, so there you go.
I also agree, but I still love Desperado.
Oh, I do too. It's definitely fun, but
Salma Hayek is fantastic to look at in that movie.
She is very nice.
All right, the next one. Moving on to the next one, we got the number 9 seed, Speed, versus the number 24 seed, Cliffhanger. Die Hard on a Bus versus Die Hard on a Mountain.
Wow.
Rug Boy. Who you got?
Interesting.
Oh my God. This is, well,
Keanu versus Sly.
Stallone is my man. Everybody knows that. I watched Cliffhanger and I did enjoy it, but I also watched Speed. But both of them, when they both came out, I watched them both in the theater, and Speed just stuck with me more. And I Cliffhanger, even though it was good in the moment, I forgot about it down the line. So the staying power that Sandra Bullock had, the chemistry, the pop quiz, all of that stuff, Keanu kind of transforming into this action hero, this like stoic action hero. I could hear the dun, 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 like the song.
Great song.
Like, so it stays with you. And so if a movie stays with you, I almost didn't have to rewatch Speed because it just burned into my skull.
Yep,
so
same.
I'm going to go with Speed.
Yeah.
Speed up 1-0. Tell that little wildcat over there. Also got Dennis Hopper versus John Lithgow.
Yeah.
Imran, Speed or Cliffhanger?
I mean, yeah, that's another thing about these 90s movies. You got these young dudes fighting old dudes all the time, and somehow they have an issue. Yeah, they get beat by a fucking, like Keanu got beat by Dennis Hopper, really. And Stallone can't take down John Lithgow. Rewatching Cliffhanger was fun, but Speed is just a better movie. The tension the whole time is amazing. The way they even set up like the passengers on the bus is very well done. And you are white knuckling it the whole time. And
Jan de Bont, right?
Jan de Bont, yeah. Directorial debut.
I mean, the bus jump is ridiculous because, like, why did it go up after it's just driving off a flat surface and it just like pitches up like that? What was that? There's no ramp there. What are you doing? But the whole time you're like, how the fuck are they going to get off this bus? For that, it's just Cliffhanger. The cheap sets kind of knocking down a few pegs. Speed.
What about Stallone impaling a guy on a freaking whatever the hell you call that in the cave?
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Grabbing him by the nuts and impaling him on that. I forget what you call those things that are hanging upside down.
Oh,
in the cave.
the stalactite. That's
yeah.
right. Or stalagmite. That's right. He lifts him up and just jams him in
Grabs
there.
him by the nuts first.
A lot of helicopters in these movies too. Another thing, it's a great helicopter ending.
Speed.
But Speed is the better. It's definitely the better.
All right, Speed is moving on 2-0. So far, clean sweeps in these first three matchups. Next one, the number 8 seed, The Crow, versus the number 25 seed, Rapid Fire. An unfortunate matchup here. Brandon Lee versus Brandon Lee.
Brandon
What
Lee
are you
versus
doing?
himself.
How could you
And we
do
have to
that?
start with John Bellotti Jr.
Oh, God.
Oh.
This is a tough one. One has better action, but one has better acting. One is more iconic, and one just stole from Jackie Chan's Police Story. Damn. One has a better soundtrack, and one kind of has one good hair metal song during a sex scene.
So yeah, it's a great song.
Police Story is the same as Rapid Fire, the same exact
Oh, yeah.
thing?
No,
Okay.
the fight, if you look at the fight choreography, and Brandon Lee has admitted that he borrowed a lot from Police Story. I mean, he even drives a guy through glass on a dirt bike.
Yep,
Like
same
Jackie
exact
Chan
scene.
did. Well, I'm sorry, he was on a motorcycle. I'm going to go with The Crow. It pains me to say it because the action, the fight scenes are so good in Police Story. Jesus Christ! But there you go. That's he's just just copying Police Story. I'm going to go with The Crow. I just like it more stylized, more atmosphere, better soundtrack.
Yeah, that's when I
pick.
saw this paired up. I was like, this is unfortunate. But
Yeah.
Crow's up 1-0. Rug Boy, Crow, Rapid Fire.
Yeah, this one's giving me a pain right in the middle of my anus.
Oh, my splinka is hurting.
Yeah, my sphincter is puckered up, and in contortions right now. It's just tough because it's Lee versus Lee here, and they're both earnest efforts here. I think The Crow obviously has the mystique of him dying during it, and it's based on a comic book, and it has this whole. It really does. It started a whole franchise, but it didn't go anywhere. But it did start a franchise, even though he died during making it. But Rapid Fire is like an earnest, like he wants to be an action hero movie. And it's like, I could flip a coin on this any day.
Oh.
But today I'm going with The Crow.
Oh, shit.
Crow moves on 2-0.
And I'm just robbing Imran of any choice of
No,
sin.
that's. I think that's the
Imran.
right pick because I mean, there's moments in Rapid Fire that I still remember, like him sliding under the table and kicking it up and all the shooting. But the fucking Crow is so different than any of these movies. I love the comic. You saw him get better as an actor, as a performer.
Imran, shut up. We didn't ask you.
Yeah, so that's the right pick.
Poor guy.
Next.
I do have to
Aw.
say, watching Rapid Fire for the first time was a very enjoyable experience, and I was glad that it was included on this list.
No, it's
So-
good. It just needed like another 20 minutes because the climax comes and you're like, whoa, how'd we get here so fast?
Yeah, they montage through killing one of the villains, too, which is
They do
during the
don't
sex
they?
scene.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, like and then the movie changes villains sort of
Yeah.
in a weird
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Well, the next matchup here is the number 5 seed, Total Recall,
Oh, this is going to be tough.
versus the number 28 seed, Showdown in Little
Oh,
Tokyo.
That's,
my
come
God.
on. What are you
Imran?
doing?
You get to pick the first one here.
Oh, what
man.
the fuck?
Oh my god.
It's not even a matchup.
Well, that's the thing. On one hand, it's not even a matchup, right? You got Paul Verhoeven over there and Arnold and some crazy space sci-fi
It's unfair.
commentary,
It is.
violent.
When you got 32 movies, there's going to be some matchups that are be like,
Cohagen. Give the people the ass.
See you at the party, Victor.
Consider this a divorce.
But you don't have Cohagen spinning on a parade float with fireworks.
Right, as he
dying?
gets stabbed. You don't
You
have
don't see it. You don't have the line. It's the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
You don't have a Showdown being a 79-minute movie and it has everything you want. It's got homoerotic tattoos on a dude in the opening credits. It's got
Flexing.
a love scene, a training scene, a meet cute scene. It's got multiple, like every 5 minutes, there's like a fight scene. The movie is insane.
Right.
Oh boy. But
you have the balls to pick Showdown over Total Recall.
do I have the ball? I can't. You can't. It's such a crazy, but Total Recall, it's got to be Total Recall. That is
Total
It's got to
Recall.
be Total Recall.
Up 1-0. Bellotti. Total Recall. Showdown.
Oh, it's Total Recall. But it doesn't mean Showdown is not a good, fun time watching a movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So far, 2-0s all over the board.
Anthony's very lucky he didn't put me in this one. I would have.
Oh, you would have messed
totally
this one up.
fucked us up.
He was waiting for his chance.
and gone with Showdown. But then
I wouldn't be mad.
shut it down.
I wouldn't be
Bloody
mad.
shut it down.
No. If you pick Showdown, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but you would have had the vote to shut me down.
Yeah.
I would. I won't go.
But-
Well, we'll have another chance.
Well, there's plenty of matchups. Well, don't worry.
All right.
The number 12 seed, The Rock. Welcome to The Rock. Versus the number 21 seed, Bad Boys. What you gonna do?
Oh, this is tough.
That's an
Michael
easy
Bay
one.
matchup.
Oh.
Rug Boy.
Bay
Who you
versus
got?
Bay.
Because I'm racist, I'm going to say The Rock.
But-
No, it's actually because the movie's a better movie. I think it's tighter. It's more gripping. It doesn't lean on comedy as much. And that's something I liked. I thought it was like it was just a more on rails like action. It was actually very well directed in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
A little bit of shaky cam here and there, but not as much as in Bad Boys, I think. So I'm gonna go with The Rock.
Rock.
I love an old guy beating people up too. It's funny.
Imran.
Oh boy. Michael Bay versus Michael Bay. Bad Boys does have a lot of sideways shots and what's more memorable? Ultimately, like the
Two
thing
kind of like buddy mismatch friends type thing too.
Yeah. But some great explosions in Bad Boys, but also in The Rock. Fuck, this is hard. The one that sticks out more to me, and it's simply because of the fucking green flare scene with Nick Cage, and you know him trying to warn the planes, and they miss, and he just one goes, I gotta go to The Rock. I gotta go to The Rock.
The Rock. All right,
that was
The
tough.
Rock
Though.
moves on.
What would you have said, Johnny Boy?
Oh, I would have picked The Rock. That's an easy
The
one.
Rock. All right, The Rock.
But it doesn't
The
have
Rock.
it doesn't have Taya Leone in that skirt and boots.
Does not.
yeah.
That's true.
That's the only thing Bad Boys has over The Rock.
Bad Boys also established Will Smith as a bona fide action star. But The Rock, I think I would have picked The Rock as well.
The Rock is a tighter movie.
I
would have picked The Rock.
I
Yep.
saw they
Go ahead.
wanted Arsenio Hall originally for the role before.
Martin Lawrence was top billing over Will Smith.
Yeah.
in Bad Boys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
At that time, he was a bigger star. Ooh, this next one.
Oh boy,
This one's a doozy. We're starting this off. Bellotti, you didn't get to go, right?
No.
Okay, so this one's the 13 seed, True Lies, versus the number 20 seed, Demolition Man.
Whoa.
Stallone
Wow.
and Snipes versus Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I will admit, Demolition Man is more fun of a watch because of Snipes and his over the batshit crazy performance. However, James Cameron, that's a good movie. I mean, that gave us the Harrier scene, it gave us that bridge explosion scene. Jamie Lee Curtis doing the dance scene. God, there's a lot. I'm gonna go with don't tell my family, but I'm gonna go with True Lies.
Whoa.
listen,
How can you abandon your boy Sly like this?
Well, the 90s, that wasn't his decade.
No, that wasn't his
he was on a downward slope in that.
So they put
And
Snipes in
that
there.
was like the last great Arnold movie was True Lies.
Well, let's see if Ruggs agrees. True Lies or Demolition Man? We
I
just reviewed
disagree.
both of these
I
movies.
disagree.
Oh,
because
here we go.
I'm going Demolition Man.
Oh,
Why is that?
because I feel like in today's day and age, I would love to wipe my ass with a lot of the shit that we're doing right now.
seashells.
And yeah, well, I'd like to be able to this movie says so much about what we're going through right now and how they're literally, we need a caveman to kind of come back and just tell us how to do shit. And get shit done.
Yeah, it's like a documentary film if you're looking at it that way. You're 100%
so
correct.
I feel like it was prophetic. I feel like it was a great thing to have one of the weird events where you actually have a bad guy that's as fucking capable as the lead guy, and Snipes as a foil to Stallone is great. And there's just such a lot of funny moments in this movie. That whole thing in the museum was fucking great. And I love True Lies, but I just think that I would give it to this. I would give it to Demolition Man.
Ooh, now we got a little drama here. Imran, do you have a Jamie Lee Curtis or do you have Sandra Bullock?
Don't put it in his hands.
It's in Imran's hand.
Nick Shev.
2 movies we reviewed.
Yeah, I
Nick
hear Nick
Shev
Shev
is
yelling
going to
at
be
you.
very mad at one of us or all of us. 2 movies we reviewed. They were both great. True Lies has that unbelievable bridge scene with the Harrier jets and how they shot it in miniature. And we just saw Avatar and it's fucking Cameron, right? And Schwarzenegger.
But in Demolition Man, they blew up a whole fucking building.
They did
They
blow up a
the
whole
first
blew up
5
that building
minutes.
for real.
We
You got two amazing villain kills. You got one guy being frozen to death and getting his head knocked off.
That's
You got the other
fantastic.
guy stuck on a missile being fired into the enemy helicopter.
You're fired.
But in True Lies, you have that whole shakedown of his wife and the dude that's trying to fuck her.
I mean, you got an
That's
amazing
great.
Bill Paxton scene. It's the funniest, and I love that middle part. A lot of people are like, whoa, this is weird.
Yeah.
But man, Demolition Man, that movie, it's especially after pandemic and now, it pops up in your head, especially after we reviewed it. I can't stop thinking about it because of all the things that kind of predicted. It's kind of crazy. And we have another Cameron Schwarzenegger film in the running. That's to be factored in. Do I go upset? Oh shit. Fuck. Okay. You know what? My heart says.
What does your heart say?
My gut, my heart says I have to give it to True Lies.
Oh, True Lies.
Oh,
where
you
I'm
just
ending
made a
up.
shitty showing.
That's where
True Lies moves on. I will jump in here and I will say
it's very hard.
I would have picked Demolition Man.
Oh, fuck.
Wow.
But True Lies has moved on. So there it is. That's the first 2-1
Oh, man.
showing here.
May have fucked
It
it
would
up.
have been a great upset, but it would have been a worthy upset, I believe.
Yeah, it would have been. I think that would have been a word.
I was on the edge. I just, I don't know.
I could hear it.
Yes.
And we're going to start this one off. This is the number 4 seed, top seed here.
Oh, boy.
The Fifth Element, Multipass, versus the number 29 seed, I Just Want to Eat, Universal Soldier.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, this is a tough.
Jonathan Bellotti Jr., who do you got?
Fifth Element gave us Mia Jovovich with that crazy wig, and
Multipass. Corbin Dallas.
Lilu Dallas.
I mean the effects wise, it blows away. Universal. I was going to say Demolition Man. Universal Soldier.
You got Dolph and Van Damme.
I know, but Dolph really gave an Oscar-worthy performance, unlike any other movie.
He was
he's ever
trying.
been in.
He was actually trying.
He was trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you
tell.
watch all his other movies, he's as stiff as a board. But
Yeah.
this movie, he's like, I'm all ears. And
Oh,
he's
yeah.
fantastic. Are we having fun yet? I mean, come on. He's fantastic. And, you know, the fight scene's a little too slow motion at the end, but God, it's a tough one because one is like an actual good film and the other one is just an action movie. So it's, what do you weigh it?
Both kind of sci-fi,
There's some
though.
good action in Fifth Element.
No, there's good action. Like when she kicks everyone's ass in that movie. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and the message, I guess, is good. But oh man, this one is tough. This one's a little tough. I'm gonna go with the Universal Soldier on this one.
Whoa,
Whoa.
shit.
I am.
Universal
Oh,
Soldier
shit.
up 1-0. And we're going to shoot this over to Rug Boy. Is there going to be an upset here? Fifth Element or Universal Soldier?
Well, let me tell you something. I do love The Fifth Element, and it's got Bruce Willis in it and Mila Jovovich in it, and their
Very
chemistry is great. It's great fucking on-screen chemistry. It's cute, and they give you a badass chick in this movie. I love Universal Soldier. Don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna go with Fifth Element.
Fifth
It
Element.
brings so much to the table. It's got great sets. It's got great costume design. It's very memorable, and so I'm gonna go with that one.
Nimron,
Oh, fucking tiebreaker
it's in
again.
your hands again.
This one maybe not so hard as the last tiebreaker. Universal Soldier, while yes, it is fun to see Van Damme spin kick the shit out of Dolph Lundgren over and over again. And it's just ridiculous. And the better movie, clearly, all around, is Fifth Element. It's just the Luc Besson and is it like Mobius, right? It's like a Mobius inspired.
It's based
thing?
off of the ankle, yeah.
Oh, the art direction. Chris Tucker. Everything's great. Love it. And like that one definitely, again, sticks with me, jumps up at me first. Yeah, it's going to have to be Universal Soldier, even though Van Damme just
What?
wanted to eat.
Universal Soldier or Fifth
Oh,
Element?
sorry, Fifth Element. I bet it's going to have to be
Oh,
Fifth Element.
don't fuck
No,
around
no.
like that.
Sorry.
Don't say the wrong thing.
Fifth Element
Because once I
is-
etch it in stone, it's
Yes.
moving on. All right. Fifth
is the
Element.
winner.
All right. Well, next one. Another top seed. We got the number 3 seed, The Fugitive, versus the number 30 seed, Sudden Death, John Bellotti.
No contest.
No contest for who?
Yeah.
Which way? Oh,
Harrison
man.
Ford or Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Get off my plane. Wait, that's a different
That's the
movie.
different
That's
one.
one.
That's in
This
here,
one's-
though.
I didn't kill my
Yeah,
wife.
You
I
find
don't
that
care.
man. You find
I
this
don't care.
man. That's my favorite line. You
You know
find
part
this
I like?
man.
No, I like when he goes, no, what are you doing over there? I'm thinking, well, think me up one of them donuts with the sprinkles on it. I don't know why I like that.
This is another movie where Tommy Lee Jones is in it. He's a hero in one and a villain in another.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Forgot
That's
about
true.
that.
Sudden Death is basically Die Hard with hockey.
Yes.
That's all it
Yes.
is. And Van Damme is a American firefighter, but has a foreign accent and
Yes,
knows
speaks French
martial
Canadian.
arts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
none of
happened
it
to
is.
play goalie at one point.
Yeah.
Happens
his
to play
life.
goalie, and doesn't he like block the winning shot or something?
Yeah,
Like,
he
saves
stops.
the game.
Yeah, he saves the game.
He
Yeah.
saves the game.
It's Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. This is a ridiculous movie.
Yeah. I'm not saying like a guy jumping off a waterfall and living is any more plausible, but
That's a good point.
I'm going to go with The Fugitive on this one.
All right.
It's a solid movie with a breakout performance by Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford, and sudden death is just a derivative of Die Hard. So that's my final pick.
Rugs.
How
Easy for
dare
you.
you, John Bellotti?
Sorry, bro.
How dare you insult the muscles from Brussels?
I gave him Universal
How
Soldier.
dare you insult
I got Universal Soldier. That's
the powers of Booth? How dare you insult Jean-Claude Van Damme beating a female in a mascot penguin uniform?
Icy.
But that's all that movie's got.
That's all it has.
It's The Fugitive.
It's The Fugitive.
Of course, it's The Fugitive.
All right, easy
That's an
enough.
easy. Yeah.
Fugitive moves on. Again, some of these are clear mismatches when you have 32 movies in here. But Sudden Death, I did enjoy it. It is a fucking ripoff of. It's an unabashed ripoff of Die Hard, which makes it.
No apologies from the filmmakers.
I mean, like
oh.
Jean-Claude Van Damme scaling the fucking building and everything.
Hanging from the rafters and shit.
You know, it's fun.
I know firemen. I'm friends with them, and they could do a lot of cool shit. But a lot of them don't know karate.
My favorite part is he just guesses and finds where the bombs are.
Yeah,
He's
this
just
is
like, oh,
uses
here they
the
are.
bombs.
And then the
Yeah,
helicopter at the end vertically falling through the top of the Coliseum on the ice.
Oh my god!
Oh, it's
so
so
bad.
bad.
Where they cut to Powers' booth,
Yes.
and you just like him looking at Van Damme, and he's screaming. "Ah!"
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
But The Fugitive is an amazing movie that
Fantastic.
I agree with
Moves
this pick.
All right.
It's a great chase film.
Yeah.
The one-armed man, everything. You know.
One-armed man. Yeah, I didn't kill my wife.
I don't care.
Imran,
Oh boy.
the number 14 seed, Face Off, versus the number 19 seed, Con Air.
Oh my god!
Nicolas Cage versus Nicolas Cage.
Oh my god! Oh shit!
Wow, this is
Imran, don't fuck this up.
a very good matchup. Oh, I don't
What, you
even know.
fucked this
I don't
up,
know how
Imran?
I'm going to fuck this up because I clearly feel one way about this. We reviewed both of these movies for our Patreon member
We did.
on the same episode, and if you go back and listen to that, like I feel the same way. Con Air has a fantastic, airplane Las Vegas stunt. You have Nick Cage
Die
playing
Hard with convicts on a plane.
Die Hard with comics on a plane. Absolutely. Another Die Hard clone. And you got Nick Cage playing the protagonist. So it's interesting. You got one movie with
You
Nick
should have
Cage.
kept the bunny in the bios.
He's got the mullet.
He's got the mullet. There's other
Why
mullets,
didn't you
though.
put the bunny back in the bios?
And-
Nicolas Cage always has hot Ys, by the way.
Always.
And
It's in
the-
his contracts
Yeah.
when he signs onto a movie.
but
Like Adam Sandler.
Face Off. I want to take his face off.
No more drugs for that man.
Yes, that's fantastic. I just love his face off. His performance is unhinged, and the John Woo of it all, the dubs, the double guns, the gold guns, the slow-mo. Oh, it's just delicious. And watching both of these movies, I feel the same way. I had a much better time with Face Off, and so I am picking Face Off.
Face Off up 1-0. Ooh, we good looking.
Yeah.
John Bellotti Jr. What you
Fuck.
got?
I was hoping you would skip me and make Rug the tiebreaker.
No.
This is Con Air is epic, right? Like
I love Con Air.
I do too. When that movie's on TV, like with commercials, it's like 4 hours long with
Great
commercials.
cast, too. What an amazing cast in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh my
Malkovich,
God, like everybody.
King Reeves,
Yeah.
yeah.
What was the rape?
Gary Buscemi. Was it Gary Buscemi? John Buscemi. Steve Buscemi.
Oh, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Garland Green. He plays Garland Green.
Cusack, Dave Chappelle being all crazy.
Dave Chappelle, Cusack, yeah.
Jamie
Look at
Trejo.
sandals.
See, the thing is, like how many movies do you remember a character's name, right? Like I remember Castor Troy and
Castor
Sean
Troy.
Archer,
Yeah,
right? And then I remember Garland Green and Cyrus the Virus, right? There's so many
Cameron
of them.
Poe is a
Cameron
great,
Poe.
is a great name.
Cameron Poe.
Yeah, they're all great names.
Sai Anara.
It's so cheesy. So stupid.
I want to pick Face Off because of John Woo, but he was sort of redoing what he's did in Hong Kong movies. But aside from that, I mean, it's a solid movie. There's some goofy things in it for sure, but Con Air is so over the top. Like, what does one do when faced with such a choice? I feel like I've said this during the 80s tournament as well.
You did say the exact wording.
I said the exact same.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Face Off or Con Air? Face Off. And Con Air has that ridiculous ending with how Cyrus the Virus dies.
Oh,
it's
how
just
he dies?
It's so elaborate.
It's insane. It makes no sense. Can I describe it real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
He gets handcuffed to a ladder on a runaway fire truck.
Oh, yeah.
The ladder raises because Nicolas Cage raises the ladder. He hits an overpass, falls onto electric wires. They cut away to him falling on the electric wires. Then they cut back, and he somehow happens to be on a garbage heap.
Yeah, like a
goes
conveyor
into
belt.
a conveyor belt that disposes of him. And it's how the fuck this was on the strip. Where is this conveyor belt?
Yes, it just gets smushed. Then
It's
a big
just
thing
so-
squishes
yeah.
his head or something.
Yeah.
It's so overdone and elaborate and complex, and it's you couldn't just shot him or throw him out a window or something. Jesus,
Great.
Christ.
There's great hair on Nick Cage in the Con Air.
Oh, he's jacked in that movie too.
Jacked.
You can make Rush.
Best wink at a camera you'll ever see.
Oh, it's amazing. He does that really ridiculous roundhouse kick at the end. He takes up the entire screen. Ah, fuck. Oh, I hate you, Tony. This is a tough one because they're both
He's
ridiculous.
stalling for time here.
I know. I'm totally buying time.
They're
Hey, how
both
about
ridiculous.
how
Yeah.
about the weather today, huh, guys? Them Dolphins sure do suck.
I say vote with your heart and I'll break the
You
tie.
can make it hard for Ruggs. Yeah.
Well, a peach. I can eat a peach for hours, so I'm going to go with Face Off.
Oh, Face Off moves on.
It's a tighter film, and it's John Woo, and it's Cage and Travolta at the top of their game, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Top-ish.
I think Ruggs would have picked Face Off, but Ruggs would. Is
Without
that
a
your
doubt,
choice? Yep.
Face Off,
Yeah.
100%, no contest.
There you
I love
go.
Con Air, but Face Off is fucking like an opera to
It
me.
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
Oh, it's totally operatic.
yeah.
When he grabs the girl's ass in the beginning as the priest.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
It's so
moans
stupid.
silently.
No, he makes that face with his eyes
Yes,
wide
his
open.
faces in this movie are amazing.
Nicolas Cage's crazy eyes.
That's
yeah.
a great Cage matchup right there, though, Anthony.
That was a
Hand it
tough
to you.
one.
It's a good one.
The next one, the number 11 seed, Mission Impossible, versus the number 22 seed, Hard Target.
Oh,
Brian De
my
Palma
God.
versus John Woo. Rug Boy, you're starting this off.
Well, let's talk about this. All right. Brian De Palma made a movie with Tom Cruise, and it was a earnest, good movie. It was good acting, good direction, all that stuff. We don't need that shit in our tournament, okay? We need shit exploding.
Yes.
We need all kinds of shit happening. So, wait, what was the other movie?
Hard Target.
I'm kidding. Hard Target is a fucking ridiculously shitty movie that is made by one of the best action directors ever. And Jean-Claude Van Damme is, I don't know how many times I have to say this, but he'll empty 2 clips into somebody and then roundhouse kick them and then double backflip through fire. Okay. And then talk to birds. Okay. So there is, Brian De Palma made a real movie, and we don't have time for that shit over here. We're talking about action movies, and, Mission Impossible is a great movie, but I don't think it's a great action movie. It's just an okay action movie, but a good movie otherwise. And there you go.
Sounds like you're picking Hard Target.
Nice.
Hard Target, up 1-0.
Oh.
Imran, Hard Target or Mission Impossible?
So, listen, Mission Impossible doesn't get good until these last few movies, until Chris McQuarrie comes, until Tom Cruise decides, I don't care, I'm going to try to kill myself as many different ways as I can. You film it, and we'll make a movie around it. There's great scenes. Him hanging from the ceiling is great. And then there's really just one action scene at the end on the train. Hard Target, though. Fucking Uncle Duvet. What's his name? I got diabetes. I just had it. Wilford Brimley.
Wilford Brimley. Yeah.
Wilford Brimley on a horse with a bow and arrow with explosions behind him. Jean-Claude's mullet is mesmerizing. It is a character itself in this movie. Lance Henriksen great bad guy. Love the John Woo style. I really love, like, I think this is one of Van Damme's best movies I've ever seen. I fucking love Hard Target. It's got to be Hard Target.
Boom. The first upset of the tourney. Hard
Nice.
Target over Mission Impossible.
Definitely deserves it. Yeah.
Bellotti, do you agree with that?
I agree.
Yeah. I actually would have picked Hard Target as well. So that would have been a
Look,
4-0 sweep.
It's
if
just a
I had
fun
one.
movie.
Good movies have no place in this dojo.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's too good.
I agree with Imran too. Mission Impossible. It's a solid movie. There's definitely some tension when he's in the room trying to like get through all the security, but Hard Target. I mean, that's an
Mission
action movie.
Impossible is stylishly directed, very well acted. The acting in that movie is like leagues above like Hard Target. You know, like it's just not even the script alone is just a masterful script.
But the Van Damme bike flip over the truck fucking stunt and him just flipping through fire over and over again. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Look, you could take all of the great artistry of Mission Impossible, all right? All of De Palma's best fucking skills. You cannot even fucking do anything as soon as Jean-Claude Van Damme parts his fucking long overcoat to reveal his leg
His
as
weapon.
he's about to use it like a fucking like a six gun. Like it's amazing. Like in a western.
There's only one movie where Van Damme, there's only one movie where the lead punches a rattlesnake in the head.
Yes,
that's Hard
and then
Target.
bites
That
the
moves
tail
on.
off. Come on.
Yeah.
You gotta get it's amazing. So good.
All right. This next one, John Bellotti Jr., the number 6 seed, Starship Troopers, versus the number 27 seed, Under Siege. Your favorite, Steven Seagal.
I watched both of those movies religiously.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which one do you like better, though?
Well, they both have boobs.
They both check
Both have
that part.
boobs. Yeah, they both have violence.
Yeah.
Gratuitous violence. But only one has Casper Van Dien's jawline.
Casper.
And Michael Ironside. It's a tough one. It's a real tough one. But you know what? I already picked an Andrew Davis film, and it's a superior film.
That was The Fugitive, yeah.
Yeah, it's The Fugitive. Starship Troopers, without a doubt. And you know what? I didn't like Starship Troopers when I saw it in the theater as a kid, and I didn't really get it. And now that I get it, I'm like, oh, this movie's brilliant. So it's one of those things, one of those situations.
Grows on you.
It really does.
Rug Boy, you hate Seagal. Do you have it in you to pick Seagal over Starship Troopers?
No fucking way. I'm gonna pick Starship Troopers because it's ahead of its time.
Yeah.
In every single way. It's got great boobs in it, and it's just Paul fucking Verhoeven.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Fuck
Paul
this
Verhoeven.
Davis dude. Yeah.
Just for the record, that's Seagal's only movie in the tourney. There wasn't a lot of love for Seagal in the 80s or 90s from this cast. We only picked one movie in the entire 80s or 90s for Seagal.
He's like
It was a
pudgy
nice
in
run.
it too.
No one liked him here.
Yeah.
And he's a complete asshole these days, so I don't have a ton of sympathy for him. So
I mean, the only reason to watch Under Siege is for Erica Laniak's naked parts.
well, that and they like put a real cast around him. They put Tommy Lee Jones, Gary Busey.
Yeah,
that's right.
They tried to this. They were really putting lipstick on a fucking pig with this movie.
More like military porn, though. I like how I do like how they filmed it on an actual battleship.
Die Hard on a
battleship.
boat.
Yeah, on a boat with homegrown terrorists this time. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, Imran, the number 7 seed, Point Break.
Oh.
I'm an FBI agent versus the number 26 seed, Lethal Weapon 4.
Huh.
Jet Li. The Hongs.
That whole scene where they're fucking doing laughing gas.
Yo,
Oh
baby.
my God.
Whoa,
With
baby.
And then you got Joe Pesci just going, okay, wait, okay, I got it, okay. Chris Rock. I just watched this. There's a lot. I didn't remember a lot of it. I don't think I ever watched it.
Which one?
Lethal Weapon 4.
Oh,
there is a
I love Lethal
lot
Weapon
going
4.
on in this movie. You got, Riggs is having a baby. Murtaugh's going to be a grandfather. There's
Does anybody know what that guy was doing with the fucking flamethrower in the beginning of the movie?
Nope.
no, he was just
No,
some
no one
random
does.
flamethrower guy.
It's
What
just
was
a
the
vehicle
point
to
of that?
get Murtaugh to be out there in his boxers and then making fun of him.
Yes, so that there was a newspaper clipping. Yes, then he takes off his clothes and does the chicken dance. It's so ridiculous. And this is it's the last Lethal Weapon movie, and they're like playing caricatures of the characters that they started with at this point.
It's at this point it's nothing like the first one.
There's a lot of comedy, but it's so cartoony and it's almost like a sitcom. Like that whole laughing gas scene was like a TV show. I was like, what's happening here? But you got Jet Li being badass. Ah, man. And then you got Swayze, Keanu as in a bromance. Bodie, Johnny Utah. Another great name. Gary Busey, also in this one.
In this movie. Good guy in this movie.
A good guy. Lori Petty as
Catherine Bigelow.
directing.
Yeah.
And great chase scene through the streets.
There's boobs.
There's boobs in it. You know, the iconic president's masks. Bank robbing. The dead presidents. Yeah, the bank robbing scene which is always fun. I think for me, man, Lethal Weapon was kind of, he's directing another one, Mel Gibson, for 2023. They're going to start shooting a 5.
Christ.
He's like 66 years old. Lethal Weapon not being the best of the series at all. So I got to give it to Point Break. Point Break is a fantastic movie.
Point Break.
Yeah.
Up 1-0. Jonathan.
Oh, but Point Break. I mean, come on.
That's his favorite movie.
It's like my favorite movie. Why do you think I'm going out to L.A. this week? Come on. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm going to go look at Point Break locations.
You're going to go to the movie locations?
I'm going to go to the sandwich shop where he got 2 for Pappas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go to the beach. I'm staying at the beach. Oh, we're going to go to Neptune's Net, which is where he meets Lori Petty. Yeah, I have like the whole thing like planned out.
You're doing a Point Break tour. Oh,
no, I'm not going.
I'd have to say a eulogy for Lethal Weapon 4, and that is I saw Lethal Weapon 4 as a kid in the theater, and I had no idea at the time who Jet Li was, and I came out of that movie going, that Jet Li is a fucking crazy bastard. That guy's a monster. Like, I was scared of that character.
Yeah.
He's a fucking badass in that movie. They stick a fucking rod through him, and he still keeps fighting.
Yeah.
I love the scene where they both are like leaving, and Jet Li like realizes that they'd killed his brother.
Yeah.
And they're like, should we go talk to him?
We're going to have to ask
And they
him.
like want to see if they still got it.
Yeah.
And they try to like go back and kick his ass, and he's kicking both their ass at the same time.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You know what doesn't make sense about that movie? I'm just going to go on a little side tangent.
Go ahead.
The first movie, Riggs has that incredible fight scene that he's doing jujitsu and kung fu in the front lawn. And by that movie, he like forgot it all. Like it wasn't even, right?
Yeah.
Like, they play up the age aspect, and that's understandable because, you just get older. But like all of a sudden, he just didn't know martial arts anymore. It's like, wait, what?
Well, and it's Richard Donner, right? And he did all the movies. So I just have to point out, it has like great 90s action physics, right? Where he's getting trailed on the trailer and he's holding on with a piece of plastic and a table. And it's just that table would have been destroyed right away. And he's holding on the thing. But then when they jump off the freeway into like the 4th floor of an office building, drive through the floor and jump back on the freeway, because of course it curved around the building right there perfectly and land. I was like, wow, that's something.
That action sequence is fucking insane.
It was wild. I was
that's
like,
a good
there's
action
some
scene.
insane shit on that. Like, I don't know. Like that movie's in a lot of ways fucking badass, but it's a cartoon at the same time.
It is a complete cartoon.
Yeah, I completely agree with all that. Number 10 seed, Die Hard with a Vengeance versus the number 23 seed, Get Off My Plane, Air Force One.
Oh.
Die Hard on Air Force One versus Die Hard 3. Rug Boy, who you got?
Die Hard 3?
Yeah, Die Hard with a Vengeance is part 3.
Oh, this is interesting.
John McTiernan comes back to
You
do Die
got
Hard.
Sam Jackson,
Buddy cop.
like cop thing.
Playing Zeus.
Yeah.
Reluctant pals. Got to work together.
I think that this was the comeback for Dick McTiernan, and it was cut above what Rennie Harlan did with Die Hard 2, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what was the other one we got?
Air Force One.
Who was that? Peterson?
Wolfgang Peterson.
This was Wolfgang Peterson with Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman as the Russian bad guy.
Now, both of these are really good movies.
Yeah.
Both of these
They
are
are.
really good. Harrison Ford did a great job with this one, and just in general, both of these movies are big. But I'm gonna give it to the Die Hard 3.
Oh,
Die Hard 3.
Good.
shit. Ooh.
Yeah.
Good.
Imran,
Bellotti says.
who you got?
Oh, well. And I rewatched these two movies recently also. Die Hard with a Vengeance is so 90s. And there's like weird, like stuff you can't do today. Like just the opening scene of him wearing
The N-word on his
street
fucking
sign in
on the
Harlem.
street sign
Oh my God.
in Harlem.
And it's weird. They mentioned like the 9/11 bombing from 93. They meant there's a Yugo reference. Remember Yugos, the shitty cars? It's
I
also
mean the World Trade Center bombing.
Oh,
Sweet.
the World Trade Center, yes, in 93. And the World Trade Center heavily featured in this movie. And while watching it again, there are scenes in this movie that reminded me of like 9/11 scenes a little bit, right? There's fucking bombs going off, people running. It was kind of weird to see all this after the fact that it was done before. The movie is paced okay. I feel like in the middle, it gets weird when they leave the city and there's the tunnel and it kind of loses focus. It has a helicopter ending scene like a lot of these movies do. And then rewatching Air Force One, I really love this movie. Like it was tight. It was thrilling. They didn't waste any time getting right into it. Harrison Ford is a badass president. Gary Oldman is just ruthless, just murdering people.
Lots of Gary Oldman screaming.
Yes, lots of him mad as in his Russian accent, shooting
What he
people
does
in the
best.
head. I'm gonna put this in a tie. I'm gonna go Air Force One.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bellotti. Who you got? I already know who you got.
I know,
Go
I
ahead.
know, you know what I got. I got what you need.
Yeah.
It's Die Hard with a Vengeance, without a doubt.
Ow.
Without a doubt. I do agree with Emron. It does do that little weird tangent in the middle, and there's like the scene where he gets shot out of the water tunnel, and Zeus happens to be like riding past him
Yes.
at that like that.
Sees him
That is-
shoot out.
yes.
It
It's
doesn't make
ridiculous.
logistically it makes no sense.
He
It's
was
like
right there.
fucking he's just like looking out of the car and then he happens to see McClane firing out of the tunnel.
I think it's a funny scene.
It's hilarious, but it's like what are the chances he would be driving past on the Sawmill Parkway seeing that? That's like my biggest pet peeve with that movie. And the end is a little like how he figures out where he is, and then like the helicopter. It's like, oh man,
Yeah, the end
it's
is kind of anticlimactic. I thought it was
like sure like a
clunky.
fist fight, but I guess you know I don't.
Hans Gruber's brother.
Yeah, Jeremy
Well,
Irons
the-
was great though.
He was great, and I know they did reshoot the ending because the original ending was McClane tracking him down to like a cafe in Europe or something, and he plays a game with Simon.
Uh-huh.
Did you guys ever see that?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, it's on YouTube, and he like says, "I have a game for you," and he spins a bazooka around, and he says, "Like, guess," you know, he answers wrong, and he fires a bazooka and like blows him out like the doorway or something. It's crazy, but yeah, it's on YouTube. Check it out. But that was the only. Yeah, that would have been a lot cooler than the helicopter. But yeah, without a doubt,
Crashing into a
it's-
power line.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's Die Hard 3 because
Die Hard
Wolfgang
3.
Peterson, he's like a competent Roland Emmerich, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah, I can see that.
it's like similar shit, and it's as cheesy. And like my parents love all his movies, and that's like a barometer for me to know like I won't like a movie.
Well, I'll argue that it is a very tight, like Imran said, very tight movie
It is a very
that
tight
does
movie.
its job very competently.
Yeah.
Right.
And it has a gloss of it of like money. Like
Right.
it doesn't look cheap at all. It looks like they spent the money really well, but for some reason Die Hard just has moments in it that I liked. Like cuz that movie's just very by the numbers. It's just like Harrison Ford's got to save his family. And that's cool,
Yeah.
but like there's moments of comedy in Die Hard. There's moments of weird shit in Die Hard that's just fun to remember and watch. Where you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I will
memorable.
say I rewatched Air Force One pretty recently because Imran said it was on Netflix, and I did see it, and I really liked Air Force One.
Yes.
I've seen it before. It's a very good Die Hard ripoff,
Yeah.
but when you're going up against the King, which is Die Hard, I guess you got to go with Die Hard 3.
Yep.
So next one here, the number 15 seed, Rush Hour, versus the number 18 seed, The Last Boy Scout. Buddy Cop, Showdown, Rug Boy. Who you got?
wow. I recently watched Rush Hour, and I fucking hate Brett Ratner. I'll just say that right out the gate. I did think that there was moments where it really, really works, and there's moments where it doesn't. But overall, it's a fun movie. And what's the other one that's going up against?
The Last Boy Scout.
The Last Boy Scout's just fucking incredible. It's like they're not like one's a comedy that has good moments in it, and the other one's just a fucking great fucking movie. I'm gonna pick The Last Boy Scout.
Last Boy Scout goes up 1-0. You got Damon.
I love
Marlon,
Jackie Chan, but yeah.
You got Damon Wayans with a blown up hand, riding a horse, throwing a football with that blown up hand, 200,000 yards into the press box,
accurately
and breaking someone's nose.
Yeah.
You got Billy Blanks as a football player just shooting people during a football game in the rain.
Shooting himself in the head. Yeah, life's a bitch.
Yeah.
Imran, who you got? You got a buddy cop comedy with Jackie Chan in it, or you got a buddy cop dark comedy?
So I recently rewatched both of these, and Rush Hour is fun, and it started a great franchise. Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan do have great chemistry. He made me laugh a lot. But
good God,
yeah. Can your radio do this? Never touch a black man's radio. Which one of y'all hit me? That's my favorite. But it was a lot more comedy that I thought than action. There's some great action, some great Jackie Chan scenes, and of course he's doing all his stunts. It's crazy. But The Last Boy Scout, it's a script from Shane Black. It's Tony Scott. I love Tony Scott. I love his lighting. I love his direction, and it is dark. But it has a great scene with Bruce Willis telling somebody how he's gonna kill him. And then doing it, even though he's tied up, like I'm gonna break your nose, shove it into your brain.
Timmy was like, "You hit me one more time, I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah,
or you touch me one more time.
Can I have a cigarette now?
Yeah.
Get a light.
But
he's
just think about
badass.
They're both cops that suck at their
They're
job.
horrible at their job.
Like my favorite scene in Rush Hour is when the chief is telling him that he's got this big FBI job. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm moving up to the big leagues," and they're all like laughing at him, like it's funny.
They're taking the piss. I gotta go with The Last Boy Scout.
Ooh, mild upset, but these are very close movies.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I love The Last Boy Scout. Rush Hour is a big part of my childhood, so I'll pour one out for Rush Hour just because there's so many funny lines in that movie that you just can't get away with now.
Yes,
Jackie Chan walking in the bar and being, "What's up, ma?" and says the N-word, and then he gets his ass kicked for it, or he has to kick all the black guys' ass.
Said it
like,
twice.
you can't do that shit now.
Yo, Die Hard with a Vengeance. I mean, sorry, Lethal Weapon 4 has a lot of like homophobic jokes and racial jokes.
Oh, yeah.
In it.
These movies are littered with terrible
greatness.
Exactly. All right, this is the last matchup of the first round, guys. And this is a time travel matchup. We got T2 Judgment Day, the 2 seed, versus the number 31 seed, Time Cop.
Oh, God. Come on.
Oh,
Jonathan.
come on. What is this, like a joke?
Time Cop have any
Time Cop
chance?
by far, okay?
Shit. You're not serious. Who's going first?
Terminator 2. That's not even come on. Next. Let's go to round 2. This is
Rug Boy, should we close this out?
Yeah, let's do this the right way. Time Cop, you got Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's got a mullet, which always like adds another level to Van Damme-ness. He's in his underwear doing a split while electrocuting people.
That's fantastic.
Which is great. For some reason, he gets to somewhere in a car, but then falls out of the sky.
Yes. How does that work?
And then how the fuck does he get back? Where's the car? Where's the future time machine car when he needs to go back to where the fuck he is? Nobody knows. James Cameron obviously thought about this a little bit better. And so I'm going to give it to Terminator 2 just because James Cameron fucking just figured this shit out just a little more.
Hasta la
that's
vista,
the only
Time
reason.
Cop. Hasta la vista. I gotta say, I really enjoyed watching Time Cop. It doesn't make a ton of sense, but you have some nice boobs in the beginning, good mullet, And Van Damme doing the splits on a washer or on like a kitchen counter or a washer dryer. I forget what the hell it is.
Yeah,
Who cares?
He does
at this
he
point?
does the splits twice, I believe, in that movie, which is...
Well, with that, guys, we are in the Sweet 16, and I think it's time to go to commercial break.
Yes, we will take a quick break here. I'm going to play some promos, and we're going to come back, finish out the next rounds, and come up with a winner right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Attention podcast listeners and YouTube watchers. I'm Logan, the host of Mostly Superheroes, a weekly pursuit for the world's best stories with an emphasis on live-action superhero stuff. Every week, join me, PC Mike, The Giggler, Scotty Scoop, and Carrie as we talk MCU, DCU, books, TV, movies, and more. MostlySuperheroes.com is where you want to be. Watch us on YouTube, listen where you get your podcast, and we'll see you Sunday on Patreon. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Hey there, everyone. Brian here, host of TV Trivia Pod. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? And what's everyone eating in the post-credit scene of Avengers? Play along to TV Trivia Pod anywhere you get podcasts. And stay tuned for more trivia.
Doc and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, make sure you join our awesome fan club to give back. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. You can support the show on a monthly or annual basis, and you get stuff, and you get the benefit of having the show come out and feel like you're part of the show. Part of that Patreon community, they get stuff like an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. You can listen to the bonus show where we figured out these 32 movies, how we picked them. That was also difficult, and it's a fun listen. You could join us on our Discord Hangouts once a month. It will be next week, this month, December. Oh, it's this week, December 29.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we have a Discord this week. I just forgot, and I remember it again. See you there. I'll be there. And lots of other fun stuff. Visit the Patreon, jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Okay, Anthony, back into it.
We are in the Sweet 16, fellas. So we got through from 32 to 16. A lot of these matchups were admittedly some mismatches, but I think it's going to get progressively more difficult as we go along. And we're starting this off with the number 1 seed again, The Matrix, versus the number 16 seed, Blade.
Whoa.
Imran, who you got?
Fuck. Oh, you're going to start with me. Shit. You know, if it wasn't for the Blade, you don't get to the Matrix. We reviewed Blade recently, and we talked about how there's a lot of early Matrix shit in there. There's a little bit of bullet time. He's wearing the long black coat. Trench coat.
Silver. Or not silver, excuse me, leather.
Leather and the glasses.
You got techno music.
You got techno music. You got lots of shooting and violence. Some great scenes. Fuck. And then,
Even the jump in the Blade, where he does the jump from building to building, is like the jump in the Matrix.
Where they're kind of like floating, denying physics. They have superpowers. It does have the first superhero landing. And then the Wachowskis just kind of have the benefit of the whole decade and the previous decade and the advancements in technology and slip in, in 99 with the Matrix, which fucking blew my mind. Which absolutely blew my fucking mind. But credit has to be given to what they were influenced by. Fuck. I'm going to say the Matrix.
Matrix up 1-0.
That was painful.
Jonathan, what you got?
I'm going to go with the Matrix for this one. But doesn't mean I'm a huge fan of the Matrix.
But you're picking the Matrix. Why the Matrix?
It's just a better movie. It's the stylized action, even though I have a hard time with the Matrix. I really do, because it's so fucking derivative of everything else. Mm-hmm. But there's just some really beautiful cinematography in that movie, and Blade doesn't quite have that cinematography. Yeah. However, I do understand Imran's points, but I'm going to go with the Matrix because it's just a better made film with better sets. That's another thing too.
Yeah.
Right. It's a better made film, but again, I have my issues with it. So that's my pick.
Matrix. Moving on, despite Bellotti's reservations of picking Matrix.
Yeah.
Ooh, this next one is a doozy, guys. We got the 8 seed, The Crow, versus the 9 seed, Speed. Rug Boy.
Oh, man.
What do you got?
Oh my God.
Eric Draven versus Jack Traven.
Oh, you got Traven versus Traven. I like how you did that.
Brandon Lee, Keanu Reeves. Keanu basically takes whatever Brandon Lee would have been doing if he was alive.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Who you got, Ruggs?
Well,
think about this.
The Crow is a spiritual experience. It is something that stayed with me a long time. I saw it when I was my 20s, and it really affected me. His death affected me very much, Brandon Lee. I thought it was kind of poignant. There's not a lot of movies like The Crow. Yeah. There's a lot of movies like Speed now. There's plenty. Like, you can't. It's a formula, and I really think that the Crow is poetic. So I'm gonna give that, since in the terms of artistry of it being original and not like anything else, I'm gonna go with The Crow.
Ooh, Crow. Imran.
Oh, fuck.
Are you going The Crow or are you going Speed?
I mean, what we're talking about action movies, right? Action.
We are talking about action movies.
I love The Crow. Don't get me wrong. I read the comic book. I was in like art school in Brooklyn when it came out, and the comic book was all dark and moody, and it was exactly my bag at the time. And I remember when this all went down, but we're talking action. The action and Speed is pretty fucking good and holds up still today. The tension, it is formulaic.
It is formulaic, but I think it upped that Die Hard formula to another level.
Absolutely, it did it kind of
ticking time bomb.
Yeah,
speed like the bus.
Ticking clock with the speed limit was very compelling. Dennis Hopper gets his head knocked off at the end. It's fucking great.
Great villain death.
I mean, there's some bad green screen on top of the train there at the end, but a lot of the bus stuff you could tell was all fuck. But I love The Crow. I love The Crow so much.
Didn't say this was going to be easy, Imran.
Motherfucker, there is great action scenes. Move and you're dead. I say
you can't leave it to Bellotti.
That is
use some strategy.
I'm trying to think. What are the action scenes? There's a lot of shootouts in The Crow.
He shows up in the warehouse, or not in the warehouse, where all the bad guys, and they shoot him. They think he's dead, and he comes back up and starts shooting everyone.
The gang meeting shootout with the table. There was a long table. That was great. And the soundtrack was fucking fantastic. And it is, again, it's different than.
They're just two different.
They're so different. Like, there's no terrorists. It's not a Die Hard clone. It's got elements of things that were like in Blade. Fuck. Let's, I might have Bellotti handle this. I'm going to give it to Speed.
Ooh.
Wow.
Let's see. Bellotti.
It's action-wise.
Speed or The Crow?
Defend.
Rug Boy made a lot of really valid points. And I'm still upset that Brandon Lee died because he would have been Neo. He would have been the one. So I agree with all that stuff. My pick is The Crow. It's just, for me, it just means more to me, that movie. And Speed is good, but there's a lot of like weird little lines like, don't spit on my bus, Annie. Or when the SWAT captain yells at the poor fucking camera guy, he's like, run it. Like, there's a lot of like weird lines and overdubs in that movie that just like annoy me. And The Crow is just moody. It's stylistic. It's the best of, Hong Kong action and John Woo, style, moody goth, dreariness. And, there's no Sandra Bullock, but hey, you got to take your.
Wow, we got an upset here.
Yeah.
Wow, big time.
I mean, and I love
The Crow was ranked ahead. So this is but these were both, 8, 9. That's like right on. They're both right there.
I love The Crow, but I had to argue on the action point alone.
That makes sense.
Because this is action.
I don't have any problem with either. I would have picked Speed, but Crow. The arguments, there's no good both are great arguments.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
that's a tough matchup.
one.
Next one might be considered a tough matchup. We'll see. The number 5 seed, Total Recall, versus the number 12 seed, The Rock. Rug Boy, who you got?
Oh, this is tough.
That is a tough one.
Because
Bay's best movie?
one of Bay's best films besides The Island.
The Island,
go.
yeah.
Island's
That's
great.
like those two. These two are his best movies. So then you got Paul Verhoeven's. I don't think it's his best movie. I think RoboCop is his best film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But great movie nonetheless.
But I did enjoy this movie immensely when I saw it. I don't know which movie it's better. I really don't know.
What's your heart tell you?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I know in my heart, I feel like that Arnold's got Terminator 2 in the bag for this. Like nothing's going to beat Terminator 2. So I could probably lose an Arnold film and he'll still be in the top 4. But
is that what your gut says?
no, I think I'm going to go with fucking, like, The Rock is a great movie, but it just doesn't have Arnold in it.
You love Arnold.
And I do love Arnold. I love everything about Arnold. I'm all Arnold all the time. If Nick Cage versus Arnold is going to be a tough matchup. So I'm going to go with Total Recall.
Oh, shit.
Total Recall.
Nice.
Imran.
Oh. Well.
Nick Cage, Sean Connery, Michael Biehn. 3 generations of action stars in one movie.
Ed Harris being fucking badass, too.
Yeah.
Ed Harris.
Yeah. Michael Biehn
One of
was
the-
in that, yeah.
Most underrated motherfuckers out there.
Tony Todd and Bokeem Woodbine, let's not forget.
Yeah,
There's-
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
No, that's Con Air.
It's not Dave, what? It's not Dave Chappelle?
Going backwards here.
It's like
You also got Total Recall. You got Schwarzenegger, Ironside, Ronnie Cox,
Sharon Stone.
Sharon Stone looking amazing. 3 boobs.
Yeah. I mean, for the movie that resonates, that sticks to me out of both of these, the movie that I loved, it was the world building and the 3 boobs movie of Total Recall. I think I gotta go Total Recall.
Total Recall. Moving on to the Elite 8.
Oh,
Next
the
one.
Rock, that's rough.
Over the Rock.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Rock. We are not welcome at the Rock anymore. The number 4 seed, The Fifth Element, versus the number 13 seed, True Lies. Jonathan.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Luc Besson versus James Cameron.
I'm going to go with True Lies.
Whoa,
Ooh.
shit, really?
I am. Sometimes it's just a matter of like what movie I can sit through on rewatches more than others.
Mm.
And The Fifth Element, it's just Luc Besson, he's a good director, but his middles always drag. Not that True Lies, the middle doesn't drag a little bit, but there's just a lot more relatable stuff going on in True Lies than in The Fifth Element. So that's going to be my pick, guys.
Rug
Sorry.
Boy, is True Lies going to upset Fifth Element?
I'm going to go with Fifth Element.
Oh.
Ooh, and why is that?
Not because I have any reason. I just want to leave it to Emma.
All right. Imran, we're going to hear you
Using
hem and haw,
tragedy.
maybe.
Oh, shit. We got Total Recall's moving on. We got a lot of Arnold, but again, Cameron versus Besson. Fucking hell. True Lies is a really fun movie.
How you feel now, Imran?
God,
You got
don't
the
fuck
big,
this up,
big,
Imran.
big boy pants on.
Not his
fuck this
best
up.
movie. Fifth Element. It's great sci-fi. And you got Bruce Will. Oh, fuck me.
Multipass.
Lilo Dallas Multipass is great. I'm gonna go. Fuck. I got shit. For the sheer 90s of it, I'm going True Lies, everybody.
Whoa.
Oh shit! I'm gonna give it
True
the upset.
Lies. Knocking out a top 4 seed in The Fifth Element.
That was probably the right pick.
Oh
but,
shit!
like,
Let's see if Cameron can take down Cameron. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. They've moved on to the Elite 8. All right.
Oh, that was hard.
Jonathan,
Yo.
the number 3 seed, The Fugitive, versus the number 14 seed, I Want to Take His Face Off.
Oh,
Oh my God.
oh.
what was that great line from the last tournament? Taste versus tasteless.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a Rug Boy line that should get a ton more credit. That makes me laugh every time.
It was
I hear it.
Roadhouse and something else. I can't
And
remember.
Raiders, yeah.
Raiders, yeah.
I don't think Face Off is as tasteless as Roadhouse.
No, it's definitely not as tasteless, but
It's always the same. It's always fucking Harrison Ford that's getting the ass end of this.
Oh man.
The Fugitive at the number 3 versus Face Off.
Fugitive or Face Off. Oh,
This is
that's a tough one.
This is
a tough.
These are two very good movies.
They are very good movies.
Different though. Very different.
Very like
different.
light years different from each other. I think I'm going to go with Face Off on this one.
Oh,
I'm going to go Face Off.
oh, interesting.
Why is that?
It's just more enjoyable, and it's 90s excess at its finest. And it's not a knock on The Fugitive. I think the acting is a little better in The Fugitive, and it's more grounded, I guess you can say. But Face Off I don't know, man. It's such high concept stuff, and it's so entertaining. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just very entertaining.
I agree. Ruggs, I know what you're going to pick, but we're going to let you do it. We're going to let you do it right now.
Sometimes you watch a movie because it's a good movie. You sit down and you're like, let me watch a movie that makes sense, and that's when you watch The Fugitive. Harrison Ford, he's doing his thing. Tommy Lee Jones are all acting. They're trying to figure out who killed his wife, and it's all written very well, directed very well, acted very well. I don't have time for that shit.
That's right.
All right. I want to
It's too
see
good for this.
fucking crazy shit. I want to see fucking slow-mo bullets. I want to see fucking Nicolas Cage grab a girl's ass and make a weird face. I want to see all the shit that's in Face Off. It's one of my fucking favorite movies, and I'm going with that, and fuck everybody else.
Whoa, Face Off,
Upset.
upset. We're seeing some upsets here. Face Off, moving on. I'll interject here and I'll say I freaking love The Fugitive. I think it's a great movie, but Face Off is the pick.
I'm
Face
okay
Off-
with this too. Yes.
Face Off is the pick, and don't knock the acting on Face Off. You got Nicolas Cage and John Travolta acting
You're
like
right.
each other,
Yes.
acting like
You're
themselves.
right.
Each other.
It's
Yes.
like
But
3 levels of acting.
Yes, it's insane.
But there's some people who like to smell their own farts and talk about acting, and then they'll dismiss that movie.
No, don't dismiss
But no.
Face Off.
No.
Fugitive, even though it was a 3 seed, is a nice run. It should not be ashamed to lose to the Face Off in the 90s action tournament. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, no, that's
All right,
yeah.
next one.
Wow.
The 6 seed, Starship Troopers versus the number 22 seed, Hard Target Imran.
Oh, son of a bitch! Another Paul Verhoeven.
Paul Verhoeven, Aliens, Blood, Subtext, Hard Target, Roundhouse Kicks with bullets in the body. What do you got?
Listen,
Punch a snake or kill an alien? What do you want?
again, Verhoeven with this commentary, with this, a political, almost a little dig at military, and a lot of things taken from Nazi propaganda films. I was watching some clips of this, that alien fucking attack at the end. It still holds up CGI wise. So, super violent, good action. There's boobs in this one. However, you got fucking mullet. You got an amazing mullet. You got John Woo. There's something about Chance Boudreaux that leaves an impression. Him and Uncle Duvee hold a close place in my heart. And so we already got the talk. I'm giving this to Hard Target. This is an essential 90s action movie that is just so much fun. Yes.
Hard Target.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
John
Hard Target.
Woo, up 1-0. Jonathan, you have it in you to put Hard Target over Starship Troopers?
I don't. I do not. I cannot do it. My soul will not rest tonight if I do that. John Woo has better movies. We all know that. You can't put Hard Target over Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers is fantastic. And the CGI still holds up. And it was 1997
It
the movie
does.
came
It
out?
does
Starship
look very
Troopers
good.
was 1997. You were right.
Yeah. And then, there's no mullets were harmed in the making of that movie. Well, my pick is it's Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. Rug Boy, I think this is a tough pick. What you got?
Fuck you, John Bellotti Jr.
Oh, shit.
Fuck you for doing this.
Listen, John Woo has better movies, but he does not have another movie with Van Damme, does he?
That's true. All right. Now, I was about to say that, and then you ruined it.
Sorry.
But Imran thinks like my brain. It's funny. He's got the same brain.
I was inside there.
Yeah. So, yes. Bellotti's right. There are a lot of John Woo movies and he's doing like his best stuff in Hard Target. Starship Troopers is a fucking good movie. It's ahead of its time. They dumped a lot of money into that movie. It's not like a B movie in any way. It's a real fucking movie. It's a satire. It's got levels. Hard Target has no levels. The only level it's got is Jean-Claude is sexy and kicking your ass a lot. All right. He's only going to kick your ass. He's going to kick your ass more in this movie than any other movie because he's going to kill you and then keep fighting you. And I gotta congratulate that. I gotta congratulate John Woo for going in that level. I don't think he does that in any other movie of his.
No.
I don't think in any other movie does someone empty out 2 clips, set someone on fire, and then fucking
and then kick him.
Then kick him across the face. There's no movie that he does that in, except for with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Right, the Van Damme.
We're getting treated to the thickest eyebrows on a skinny girl with a gravelly smoking voice. We're getting treated to Wilford Brimley on horseback shooting an arrow and lighting his fucking meth cabin on fire. Like, you are seeing fucking just cinematic greatness on every level. I'm not, whatever. Starship Troopers is a great movie, but Hard Target it's like a unicorn. All right. And you gotta fucking pet the unicorn. So there you go.
Hard Target's the pick?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
Hard Target. Moving on.
Damn.
I got to step in and say, I have no problem with that pick either. I like Hard Target. I like Starship Troopers.
Yeah, they're both good.
But I like Hard Target. Hard Target. Moving on to the Elite 8.
Whoa.
This next one is a very tough matchup. And we will start with the number 7 seed, Point Break, against the number 10 seed, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Imran, what you got?
Fuck, you got to start with me on this one. Die Hard with a Vengeance. I forgot this one made through. Yes, that's right. Versus Catherine Bigelow. Oh boy. Well, there's one that's clearly like a better movie. And then
is there?
That doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I mean, I think. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Stop thinking, Imran.
I think since this is fuck. I want to give Bruce Willis some props. He managed to make it through this far. In the 90s, what's good for him?
All his movies made it to the second round.
Oh, interesting. But we got some Keanu movies. But Swayze is really good in that movie. But action-wise, there's some crazy shit in Die Hard with a Vengeance, right?
There's definitely some action in Die Hard.
There's some great driving. See, he drives through Central Park. Shit gets blown up. There's more explosions. It's more explodey. Then it's really long though. Fuck, this is hard. I'm gonna say. Fuck. I want to. Just for explodiness, I'm giving it to Die Hard. I want to say Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Die Hard up 1-0. Bellotti, I know you're going out to Cali. Are you still riding with Point Break?
Ride or die, baby.
Point Break.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh boy.
This leaves it up to Rug Boy. Point Break. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Wow, this is a tough one because, one of them is clearly a better film in some ways.
See, I thought that too.
Wow. Die Hard's good. It's got Sam Jackson. It's got irreverent jokes. It's got some funny parts and New York humor because it takes place in New York.
Yep.
Which I like about the film.
The only Die Hard movie, I believe, that has, what's his name? John McClane, who's a New York cop, actually in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And 90s New York, too, which is what I remember.
Yeah, 90s New York.
In the middle of
which is great.
summer.
Yeah.
In the middle of the hottest day of summer.
Yep.
And we got Keanu Reeves trying to be an FBI agent.
Trying to be a surfer. He's an FBI agent.
Yeah, well, he's trying to be both.
Yep.
Trying to be an actor in that movie too.
Yeah, be an actor.
Yes.
It really is the flip of a coin here because they're both worthy of watching. But you know what? I feel like, is Die Hard 3 the best of the Die Hard movies?
No, of course not.
And I'll say Die Hard 1 is.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it to Point Break.
Point Break. Moving on. That was a tough pick. I like both of these movies for different reasons, but that was a tough one. Last one in the Sweet 16. We're going T2 Judgment Day as the number 2 seed versus the 18 seed, the Last Boy Scout. Imran,
Oh,
what do you got?
Oh, fuck. Well, Last Boy Scout, great movie. You've been great. Tony Scott, one of my favorite directors. But you're going up against an unstoppable movie, a movie that I was so obsessed over. Terminator 2. I read the novel beforehand. I was at that age. This is before the internet. I bought the magazines. I read up on all the stunts and the effects. I read the book. It's got to be Terminator 2, with just an amazing original idea expanded from his first movie. Yes.
Jonathan, do you concur?
I concur.
T2. Any reason why, or is it just just stating the obvious?
I mean, it's the obvious, but I personally don't really like Last Boy Scout. I had a hard time with that movie.
It's a dark
Very
movie.
hard time.
No, but
Last Boy Scout is a fucking, yeah, it's real dark. I mean,
You can't, you know what the thing is? It's like T2 is just a mammoth.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
no chance.
Yeah.
Like the Last Boy Scout has no chance against it. Like it really doesn't. Like it really.
no,
Like T2 is just such an epic movie. You could just take the scene with Sarah Connor in the beginning, and that's better than all of Last Boy Scout.
You mean in the psych ward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where she's freaking out and working out.
It's just so fucking iconic. Like
Yeah.
it's unforgettable.
Well, now we are on to the Elite 8, guys. We are down to the final 8 movies.
Final 8. Oh, boy.
Oh,
Final 8.
shit.
And
This is where heroes are made.
this is now where
Here's
we
your
really
shit.
we're getting to the nitty gritty of
Hard
it all.
choices.
So the number 1 seed, The Matrix, versus the number 8 seed, The Crow. Rug Boy, who you got?
Well, this is an obvious one because The Crow is great, but The Matrix is like The Matrix changed my life. The Crow is on the precipice of doing that too, in many ways. It was there in a certain moment of my life, and it was kind of a godsend. But like, The Matrix really did change like how I look at everything. I look at filmmaking, how I look at what films can do, how I feel like action films are elevated from this movie. Like the idea of anime and all that stuff being looked at as material to like steal from, which The Matrix does. You know, it takes from Ghost in the Shell and a bunch of other things. So, but regardless of all that, I feel like it was executed great, and there's no way it doesn't lose. It's The Matrix.
Matrix. Got to say though, Crow. There's a little Matrix or Crow influence in The Matrix, so got to give it that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Imran, who you got?
Fuck. And you know what? That just like you saw some of The Matrix come from The Blade, you just see a little bit come from The Crow, but all these things informed the Wachowskis and just how T2 pushes visual effects forward for the decade. The Matrix is the same thing at the end of the decade. I love The Crow, even though I didn't vote for it in the last round, but the Matrix is on another level. Clearly, I think it's just too easy. You gotta go Matrix.
Matrix. Moving on to the final 4. Next matchup, number 5 seed, Total Recall versus the number 13 seed, True Lies. Arnold versus Arnold. John, who you got? Three
My
Arnold
pick,
movies make
I
it
know.
to the Elite 8, for what it's worth.
He was still dominating.
He's still ruling in the
still
90s
ruling.
right now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he didn't go out as he put up more of a fight than Stallone.
Yeah, he did.
True Lies or Total Recall. I fucking love it. I love True Lies, but I love Total Recall even more because it's if True Lies didn't have that middle that was a little bit bloated,
Yeah,
I would
him chasing his wife and trying to figure out who's having sex with his
yeah,
wife.
and I get I guess that's the point of the movie. It's about a marriage, right? It's about
Right.
a married
It's a
couple.
lie. He's lying to his wife.
That's exactly what it is. But Total Recall, it's just more economy of story, I guess you can say. It's just more streamlined. I don't want to say it's better directed, but Verhoeven is good as Cameron in some ways and not as good in some other ways.
Yeah.
Cameron has more humanity in his films, whereas Verhoeven is sort of standing on the outside of humanity, looking in.
I think he hates humanity, actually, in his films.
It's very pessimistic. It's very pessimistic and very cynical is the word.
Yep, cynical, yeah.
Cameron's not. Cameron's always about love. All his movies are about love, which is kind of interesting.
Mm.
Yeah. If you look at all his movies, they're all about relationships.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
love.
point.
That's
Yeah,
a very
and
good point. Look at you.
That's
We get you on the show one time and you drop the knowledge. Look at you.
Well, I don't want to brag, but
But
it is past my bedtime and I get a little weird and insightful. I am going to have to go with True Lies. No.
You mean Total Recall?
Total Recall, yeah. Because I was thinking because I know what else I'm going to pick later on in a tourney, so I'm going to go with Total Recall.
Rug Boy, do you agree with Total Recall over True Lies?
No.
Oh,
but
shit.
I don't know. I'm not sure, actually, to be honest with you. I feel like let me work this out in my head.
Let's talk about it out loud. Let's see what you're thinking.
All right, True Lies is like a very long, epic kind of story about love. And Total Recall is about how shitty humans are and how and the thing they have in common is that Arnold is in both movies he's acting outside of his range.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, so he's got to be a spy, like believable spy in one movie. In the other movie, he's just trying to be a believable spy on Mars.
Right.
And it doesn't work either time. But which one is the better movie? Which one is the one to watch over and over again? I feel like True Lies is great, but I feel like I would rewatch Total Recall more.
Is that your pick?
So I'm going to go with Total Recall.
Ooh,
Oh,
Total
snap.
Recall.
It's the-
Moving on.
It's the right answer.
I would have also picked Total
I
Recall.
think it's the right answer. Yeah.
Total Recall moving on to the final 4. This next one is an all John Woo matchup. You got the 14 seed Face Off against the 22 seed Hard Target Imran.
I knew it would come to this.
John Woo gets 2 movies in the final
And I've
Elite
been
8.
championing both movies. I've been championing Hard Target. Fuck. Is Van Damme still making it alive? And oh shit.
You got the hero and the villain talking to each other behind walls. You got doves. You got pigeons. You got double shooting guns. You got all
Which
the
one's
John
the
Woo
better
isms.
movie, though?
Which one is it?
So yeah, John Woo does a lot of the same things in both movies, right? You got the back-to-back face off and then turning and shooting. Watching Travolta and Cage act like each other is just unbelievably entertaining, but also watching Van Damme fucking jump kick a motherfucker off a motorcycle is also entertaining. And there's still, that snake bite. That's going to carry a movie a long way. That is something you're not going to see in a lot of movies. Fuck, early John Woo or a little more experienced John Woo, same bag of tricks, but a bigger budget. I'm going to give it to, the earlier, hungrier John Woo and pick Hard Target.
Whoa,
Over
Hard
Face
Target. Up 1-0. Jonathan, what you got?
I wouldn't call him hungrier. He was just desperate to get out of Hong Kong as China was taking over.
He was just happy to be in America, actually.
He was happy to be in America.
Have all this money and all these cameras and fucking drone cameras and shit.
Yeah, and a crew that didn't understand any of his direction because they couldn't speak Chinese.
Can Hard Target continue its Cinderella run? Roadhouse-esque Cinderella run.
Yes, I'm glad
it is a road. Yeah, it is a Roadhouse.
Every time this
right
happens, we rediscover a film that is just so apeshit that you have to acknowledge it. But
it's the Roadhouse of the 90s, I guess you can say.
Yeah, it's so far it is. Well, we've got two potential Roadhouses here.
Yeah.
14 seed for Face Off is a pretty nice run. So who you got, Jonathan?
God, I want to go with Hard Target, but Face Off is the better made film. But they both have similar elements because if John Woo never came, like if John Woo didn't have Hong Kong movies and these were his movies, like his first two movies, I would have been like mesmerized. I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. But he does repeat himself a little bit in these movies. I just like the way he did it more in Hard Target. That's my
Whoa,
pick.
shit.
That's my pick.
Shit.
Hard Target moving on.
oh my God, I would have totally picked Face Off. Yeah, I would have went for Face Off.
I got to interject here and say, man, I think Face Off is the better film, guys. I don't know what's going on.
It might be.
I know he's repeating himself, but the high concept of the two guys acting as one another. This is a
when you
crazy
put John Woo against Woo, then you got to start looking at, okay, you got Jean-Claude Van Damme doing roundhouse kicks and then emptying clips into somebody, or this is John Woo like taking himself to another level with weird sci-fi now.
Yeah, but you know what? The ending of Face Off is not as good as Hard Target. Like that
right,
warehouse shootout is just
it's insane.
It's insane.
Dude,
like he's coming down a parade float.
Lance Henriksen actually caught on fire and just kept the cameras rolling, and that was all a mistake.
We found our Roadhouse in this tournament, and it was Hard Target.
There's something
what a Cinderella run.
There's just something cheesy and charming about it.
I wouldn't have pegged this, but looking back at the way we were talking about Hard Target for weeks, it makes sense. It makes sense that Hard Target could make it this far.
Yeah, that finale is fantastic. It's so good.
So ridiculous.
Like, I didn't remember it being that crazy, but when I rewatched it, I was like, oh my God, this movie is
He's
insane.
on a duck being lowered, shooting at people.
Or he catches the flaming piece of wood and he just
with his
flexes
hand.
And I remember, so we saw that in the theater with my mom. And when he flexes, she went, "Oh my God, look at that!" Like that's all I remember when I was a kid.
I think he, I read somewhere that he wanted that scene where he's like in the warehouse and he's flexing. Like John Woo wasn't going to do that, but they were like, "No,
it's in his contract." Yeah, it's either his ass or his biceps. It's one or the other.
For what it's worth, Jean-Claude and John Woo, they brought out John Woo brought out the best in Jean-Claude. This is his best film.
Yeah, they should have made more movies together.
They really, from what I read, they really respect each other. Like Jean-Claude, even though Jean-Claude was like kind of all ego at that point too, he was like, "I like John Woo, he's great."
Yeah,
Woo was said the same thing about Jean-Claude. So wow. What a fucking run for Hard Target, guys. What a run.
What have I done?
We're going to get a lot of hate.
What a run.
On Facebook.
Oh, yeah. So many
people are going to go fucking nuts. I know Chev is going to kill me for this one.
This is by the lowest seed. This is the lowest the seed has ever made it. Hard Target in the final four at number 22.
The final
Lower
four.
than Roadhouse, which was a 16 or 17.
Wow.
So, there you go. Well, next matchup is people that dated one another. I think they were married. T2, Judgment Day, James Cameron, Catherine Bigelow, Point Break at number 7. Rug Boy, who you got?
This is not even a contest. This is T2 all the way.
T2.
Absolutely.
Because
Up 1-0.
as good as Point Break is, like, if I had to delete it, like one or two from my hard drive.
Room? Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, I'd have to have T2.
There you go.
I would.
Trash.
I would.
Imran, is this a contest at all?
Absolutely not. Come on, it's Terminator 2. It's going to be the big heavy here.
When Arnold walks out of the elevator with that fucking gun.
Oh God!
And the way she reacts, she's shitting her pants, and it's unbelievable. And then you see John come out, and he's like, "Mom, it's okay." And you're like, "What the fuck?" And you can imagine what she's thinking.
Guys, T2's still in the tournament. We don't need to shower love on it. I want to just pour one out for Point Break.
Yeah, good run.
Because one of the best bromance movies you'll ever see. Real stunts with the like those guys really learned how to surf.
Yeah,
they're jumping out of airplanes. You never really saw that shit. Skydiving scene, great chase scene. Point Break is. And it's something I discovered out of this.
It spawned the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yep. It basically spawned 10 other movies with Fast and Furious. So Point Break, much. I got to pour some out for Point Break.
Absolutely.
Catherine Bigelow would go on to do some big things after it and win an Oscar. So Point Break is a very worthy film. We are in the final four, guys.
Oh boy!
And we've got 2 Arnold movies. We've got a Keanu movie, and we have a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie in the finals.
I guarantee you, no one picked them.
I can say for sure. I didn't think there was a possibility that Jean-Claude wouldn't have made it out of the first round. He's in the finals. He's in the final four. Excuse me.
That's ridiculous, but amazing.
Space Ice would be proud.
I thought Universal Soldier would be in it much further than this, or Time Cop.
So on the one side of the bracket, it's a sci-fi matchup. We got The Matrix versus Total Recall. John, what we got?
Oof. This is a tough one. It's not a tough one. It's not a tough one, actually. Total Recall is a more original film for me than The Matrix. It always was. Ooh. I'm not a fan of the first Matrix. I mean, I respect it. I like the sequels more. I know everyone hates me. Yeah, I like Reloaded more because he was a Superman. You know, it took him a whole movie in the first one to become Superman. The second one, he was just a superhero. So I like that more. And it has that highway scene. It's just too derivative of like 6 movies in this tournament and Ghost in the Shell. Like when I saw the trailer, I said, "Oh, it's what they got Yun Wu Ping and Ghost in the Shell, and they just had sex with each other." And this movie came out with a little bit of leather bondage thrown in. So Total Recall is my pick, man.
Oh,
it's just
man.
Total Recall.
It's more original, and it's just it's just a more solid movie for me. And it doesn't feel like, I'm sure it's derivative of other stuff, but it wasn't as obvious to me when I was 21 years old. No. When was The Matrix? 97, right? I was 17.
Matrix is 99.
99. I was 19.
90.
Yeah, I was 19, and I was like, this looks like everything I've ever watched before. And it sure played that way. Doesn't mean the story was bad. The AI concept is really cool. But again, T2 already did that. Already did it.
Rug Boy. Total Recall or The Matrix?
Jesus.
You see, like, I understand what John's saying about the originality and whatever, but you got to understand, we're both nerds that fucking, this is what we did. We watched anime, we watched Japanese films, we watched fucking all kinds of shit. We're privy to stuff that most people don't know. Right. So I got to take that and I got to push that back and go, okay, look, yeah, I know about this shit. Yeah, I know all this other fucking shit that it's like ripping off of. But for them to like take it and do it so perfectly, I feel like, I'm going to say this out loud, it's one of the most perfect films ever made.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, it is.
I really do feel like when you watch The Matrix, you don't need to see any more. You don't need a sequel. You don't need anything. It tells the story that it needed to tell, and it does it fucking brilliantly. And it does it in a way that caused so much like reaction that they made more and it became a thing. And they failed to capture that again. They tried to make a reboot recently that was dog shit. And they just can't recapture that magic. Just something magical happened in that movie. So I'm going to go and say The Matrix 100%.
Imran, it's up to you.
So, Bellotti, you keep saying Total Recall is original, but it is also, it's based off a story by Philip K. Dick.
Philip K. Dick, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So he had something that was inspiring him to go.
And so is The Matrix.
Is it?
Yeah.
The Matrix.
I mean, The Matrix is not Philip K. Dick, but I mean,
Masamune Shiro, pretty much.
well, you got also do Sheep, whatever, Dream and Electric Sheep, whatever.
No, and
that's
what's his
Philip
name?
K.
The
Dick.
Invisibles. Remember that was that comic, The Invisibles by Grant Morrison?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, there was that whole controversy and the lawsuit over that comic.
But I mean, I agree with you, Ruggs, in that Wachowskis did kind of what George Lucas did, was just take the stuff that they loved growing up, that influenced their tastes, and put it together in a new way that nobody ever seen before, right? So that's why it looks the way it does. And I just remember getting lost in this world, the whole concept of being plugged in and unplugged, and this is not the real world, and you could do whatever you want. Super iconic, and this movie blew me away. It blew away my little mind. Total Recall, great movie, but I feel like we got to pass the torch from Arnold now, and Keanu killed it. I'm gonna give it to The Matrix. It's got to be Matrix.
Matrix. Moving on to the finals. They know kung fu in The Matrix,
Yes,
for sure.
I know kung fu.
Well, this is a heavyweight versus a David and the Goliath matchup, but we'll see here. Jonathan, it's T2 Judgment Day versus the number 22 seed. The 2 seed versus the number 22 seed. Hard Target.
Oh, my poor Hard Target.
Hard Target's
I'm
looking up.
just amazed that it made it this far.
Looking up at the Terminator. Jean-Claude's just looking up at him like, do I have any
this
chance
happen?
with this one?
That's a tough one. Like, Jesus Christ. How do I
What
pick?
does one do?
What does one do when faced with this? I'm sorry, Hard Target, but I think this is the end of
Cinderella
the
story
line.
over.
But you know what? Made it to what was this? The
Final four.
Final four.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a run. That is a hell of a run. Cannot deny the power of the mullet.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
T2.
it's T2 by far.
T2. Rug
Yeah.
Boy. T2. Hard Target.
Yeah, I think that Jean-Claude has put in a great run, but at the end of the day, the 90s was not ruled by Hard Target. Hard Target did not master the minds and imaginations of people all over the place. It was the Terminator sequel that did it. And you got to hand it to Cameron. So take T2 all the way.
T2 making it to the finals. And I must say now, first off, pour one out for Hard Target.
Oh,
What
my
a run.
God. What are we doing?
What a run.
run.
This
Great
always
run.
seems to happen now in these tournaments where we find a gem that makes it really far and gets the right matchups. Pour one out for Hard Target. When I set up this bracket,
You never expected this.
well, I never expected this, but I did expect these final because there were clearly, in my opinion, two heavyweights in this 90s tournament that were going to be hard to beat.
Yeah.
And they are here, and I'm very excited to hear who wins this matchup because I don't know if it's easy. It might be easy for one person, but it's not easy in my opinion. You got the 1 seed, The Matrix, the 2 seed, T2 Judgment Day, 2 game-changing movies, 2 game-changing sci-fi movies. You got the old guard versus the new guard, Schwarzenegger versus Keanu. And we're going to start this one off with Imran.
Oh, son of a
Who do you
bitch.
got? The final. The 1 and the 2.
Yeah. I also anticipated this. I was afraid this was going to happen. And I think I spent a fair amount of time figuring out what I was going to do, where I land. And it's simple. It's clear because you do not get the one movie without the other movie. You do not get to The Matrix without Terminator 2. And just, I mean, I think it's one of James Cameron's best films he's ever done. And the world building, the care, the detail, just I couldn't get enough of this fucking movie. Maybe it was because of the age I was in, but he brings in the early 90s, and again, The Matrix gets to capitalize on all that and close out the 90s, which is great. But OG, yes, the new guard is coming, but you respect your elders. Respect the OG. It's got to be Terminator 2.
We're going snake order, so I know that the next person, I know what they're going to pick, but we got to go to them. Jonathan, are we closing this out with T2 over The Matrix?
Without a doubt.
Oh shit!
Oh, shit.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
It was my,
you did not like that
was
one.
my pick the moment you announced this tournament was T2.
T2. Rug Boy, would you have agreed?
I would look. They're both really great films, and the reason I would pick T2 is just like Imran said, is that T2 could actually exist inside the Matrix,
Right?
like that could have happened before the Matrix
In
happened.
that universe, yeah.
In Cameron's universe, the machines take over.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Did it
so
first.
yeah, it's pretty much the precursor to this idea. And this idea was executed in the first Terminator, which was in the 80s.
Yeah.
So the Wachowskis had a long time to develop this affinity for this story. And they owe it a lot to James Cameron. So you can't really have them usurp the title from the master.
Yeah.
And that's T2.
T2 is the champion.
Holy shit!
What I would say here is I think I would have picked T2, although T2 was a movie that, for me as a kid, was just everything, and it still is everything.
Yeah.
But I've really grown to appreciate The Matrix, too. I think The Matrix is an amazing film. It's part of that 1999 class of just game-changing films. But I think
It really
T2
is.
Yeah.
As derivative as it is, and as aping other movies and things as it is, it still did it in such a way that was almost like flawless.
Yeah.
It was a flawless rip off. It was like they ripped stuff off, but they did it great.
Yeah, I agree. And with that concludes the 90s tournament.
Holy
and
shit.
I want to point out a fun fact here. And we're going to have a bonus face off real quick.
Oh.
Not that movie, by the way.
Okay.
But
Whoa.
80s, 90s, both ruled by Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
the
right?
80s,
Oh, yeah.
Predator wins our
Yeah.
tournament.
Yep.
The 90s, T2 Judgment Day wins our tournament. Arnie takes both decades.
He's the king.
According to the Jock and Nerd
Holy
podcast.
shit, he is the king.
He's
Well
the king
deserved.
of kings. But with that in mind, 80s versus 90s, Predator versus T2, guys. Rug Boy, who you got? Bonus question.
Wow.
That's a hard one. That's a real hard one.
Rug, I wanted to keep you on your toes, and I knew this was going to happen the whole time. I was going to do an 80s versus 90s. So,
Wow.
which Arnie rules the 2 decades?
Wow. That's a really, really good. That's a matchup. I haven't thought about that yet, but
Bonus round.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm gonna have to just edge it out just by a little bit. T2.
T2. Imran, would you have picked T2 or Predator?
No, I think I would have picked T2 also. I love that fucking movie. Predator is great, but it's like two amazing franchises of things I've read comic books of that are amazing. But Terminator 2 just edges it out. I think I'm with Ruggs.
What about you,
It's
Bellotti? I know
very
you really
memorable.
like man action. You said that in the last
I love
show.
I love oily men
Yes.
on men action
Doing high fives.
with guns
Yes.
and big bulging biceps and
Predator or
jungles.
T2?
I love jungles. I say T2 takes you on a fucking journey. You're in that world. Where Predator, you're just dropped into a situation.
Right,
Right?
right. It's a very
That's good.
straightforward movie.
It's just
Predator.
straightforward,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like Speed in a way where it's once it's in motion, it stays in motion.
You're on that train.
Yeah.
You're on that train, and T2 is just this whole
This whole world building.
I mean, not so much. For me, it's not about like with the world building. It's just the emotional journey you go on, with, where a fucking robot learns how to love at the end. I mean,
The
Jesus
robot becomes
Christ.
more human than
becomes
human.
more human. Yeah, I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do. I mean, come on.
Great line. The
Come
thumbs
on.
up as he go into the
thumbs up.
Yes, it gets me. Every
I
time.
still use that GIF on my phone. I send that to like everybody. The thumbs up in the fucking molten metal. No, it's T2, but not by much. Probably a little bit more than the other guys.
I mean, 90s, obviously has the advantage of being a little bit after. Last bonus question, guys. After doing two decades worth of action movies, 80s or 90s, Rug Boy, who you got?
Oh Jesus! Oh my God!
Which is the better films?
Which of these tournaments had the better films? The 80s or the 90s?
Oh, you got Roadhouse versus. I mean, you got the two.
You got some great movies in the 80s one.
You don't get to the 90s without the 80s.
Who was better, Hard Target or Roadhouse?
That'll be the last bonus question. That's the last bonus question. Save that one.
All right. I don't know. That's a toss up, dude. Like, it really is, because like the 80s kind of set the tone, but the 90s perfected it. So it's like almost unfair of a matchup, but
it is. But it's fun.
But I would probably go 90s.
90s? Imran, 80s or 90s?
You know what? I for the same reason, I had a lot of fun watching these movies, and then just the depth of like kind of the same, but also very original, and the elevation of it. I'm gonna say the 90s. The 80s are great, but like the 90s diversify. And
you want to know why? Because they started to get behind the movies. Like the 80s movies, they were like, give us some money. Let's try this shit out.
Yeah.
But then by the 90s, they're like, let's just start like dumping the backing up the money trucks and like, go ahead, fucking make whatever you want.
Bellotti, what about you?
They were just bigger.
I'm actually we had Big Trouble in Little China, Predator, Aliens. I mean, those three movies right there. RoboCop.
Tons of great stuff.
Let me while you think about it, I already have my answer.
Oh.
And this is going to surprise people.
Yeah.
In rewatching these films, I would have picked the 80s.
Oh, shit, really?
Why.
I'm leaning towards that because
I think the 80s has a little bit stronger middle, and like there's a lot more cult classics, I feel like, in the 80s than there are in the 90s. Like the 90s, I don't think there's a lot of films, but I don't think the depth, like, I think a lot more people follow some of those 80s films.
That's interesting.
You know what? There's
no monsters in the 90s.
Go ahead.
Like there were in the 80s. Sorry.
No, I don't think that you're wrong. I think that that's true. I think that when you're talking about it, like as you talk about it, you're like, oh yeah, there was RoboCop and this and that.
Escape from New York, Big Trouble in China.
So the concepts were good.
48 hours.
48 hours.
There was more. I feel like in the 90s, T2 sort of sets the tone for a lot of movies. Bar. Yeah, but it sets like, without T2, you don't have Demolition Man or The Matrix. There's a lot of those sci-fi films that came out because of Terminator 2, whereas the 80s was kind of like there was a lot more variety. I felt like you go from like Robot Cop to a alien nest on a planet to an alien on our planet to Kung Fu.
Stallone wanting a sandwich in Oregon to Jean-Claude kicking people's teeth out on a Kumite mat.
You know what? You might have convinced me because we already mentioned how like Die Hard, all you had were clones, right? And watching the 90s movies, it was always terrorist. It was like bad guy, terrorist, blow something up. They all kind of blurred together.
There's not a right answer here. I just wanted to make even though I grew up in the 90s. They rewatching these 80s films, I was like, wow, there's magic here.
Yeah, but you don't get those 90s films without the template from the 80s.
100%.
That's true.
You can't make the.
I could swing it.
I might change my answer to the 80s actually because this is more original.
You're listening to the guy that grew up in the 90s.
I know.
Swing it to the 80s
because they were like the.
No, but when you put it in that context and you're like, think about it differently. You think about which were the better movies, maybe in the 90s because they had so much money and they were propped up so much. But the 80s had a lot of like
Conan. You go from Conan to Red Dawn
Cobra.
to Rambo, Cobra. I mean, 48 hours. The variety is
here's how I kind of thought about it too. Is like I wrote down the hero and villain names in the 90s. And I was like, I don't remember the names so much, but in the 80s, I remember a lot more of those hero names.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think the 80s were they weren't as glossy, but they definitely had a lot more balls. So
and Die Hard, remember, doesn't it end with Die Hard? Isn't that how the 80s ends?
Die Hard and one of your favorites, Tango and
Cash was
the
last movie released in the 80s, like. Yeah,
was it really? That was 89? I thought that was 88.
It was 89. It was an attorney. He got eliminated in the first round.
That's a bad shit movie.
For good reason.
But yeah, we wouldn't have these clones and these templates if it wasn't
Here's
for the
also
80s.
how I got it, to the 80s. I was like, you guys did a lot more hemming and hawing in the 80s first round than you did in the 90s first round.
Yeah.
So I think there was more depth.
Yeah, I definitely felt it. I felt more pain in the 80s than the 90s.
That's true. There's a little more clear cut.
I think it was more clearer cut because I think every 80s movie that we picked, first of all, we picked less movies.
Right.
28.
So there was less fat to cut. And number 2 is that every 80s movie that we did pick was a heavy. Like they all had something going for them.
Yeah.
So
Okay, here's the last one. Ruggs is credit to Ruggs, and we'll start with him. Cinderella movie matchup: Roadhouse versus Hard Target.
Oh
Still
God!
makes me laugh. It's unbelievable.
and really you can't really lose with either
No.
movie. They're both great.
But Roadhouse is so fucking over the top compared to
Be nice.
Hard Target.
Always be nice.
Like Hard Target's the better action movie.
Oh,
Yes.
by
But
far.
Roadhouse is the better. I can't believe I'm watching this and this is actually happening movie.
Yeah.
Like
they're
that's
both like that though.
There needs to be a crossover. Chance Boudreaux and
Dalton have to
need
fight.
to team up.
Yes.
Oh, they
Oh my
they
God,
could
that
definitely
would
meet
be-
up at a bar and
how did they not make
They
that
should have
movie?
made
They
that.
should have made that movie.
Do like a deep fake of some 2 guys that look like them.
we got to get a pick here. Ruggs,
You're
Roadhouse,
I'm gonna for the boobs. Roadhouse.
Imran, Roadhouse,
You know what?
Hard Target.
Even though I champion Hard Target, I love Hard Target. Oh fuck! I kind of my heart wants to pick Roadhouse. I'm gonna pick Roadhouse.
And we know, John, you'd pick Roadhouse as well, it sounds
Of
like.
course. You can't.
Yeah,
I mean, I love Hard Target, but it's Roadhouse.
I got to say Roadhouse is the king. In terms of Cinderella's, Roadhouse is the king compared to Hard Target. But
Did you
what
know-
a run for Hard Target.
After we did that tournament, I took a deep dive into like the making of Roadhouse because I was like, I got to know what they were thinking. And everything we thought, Joel Silver thought. He goes, I want to make a crazy fucking movie. And he told them to keep pushing it. And the movie was even more violent than what we saw.
Wow.
Like he wanted it to be this fucking insane
Bad
movie.
shit.
So that was all by design.
It worked.
Yeah, no, it
Well,
totally worked.
we have concluded the 90s tournament. I had a lot of fun, guys.
That was
Me
fantastic.
too. Arnold keeps the belt into the new decade. Maybe we might do a 2000s.
Oh,
We'll
we got.
see.
And
I was thinking about that.
We might have
You
to consider
could-
doing a 2000.
There's a good list of movies, and then we had
There's a list of movies
Yeah,
there
yeah,
that
yeah,
we
yeah.
could potentially
Yeah,
do.
but there's no. I feel like there's
It
no
changes.
juggernaut like T2.
Well, we could open it up internationally too.
Oh, we gotta watch some international movies.
We could evolve the genre. There's
Yeah, but then
there's
we have to go
Jason
back.
Statham. There's a
yeah.
lot
That
of
one is
stuff.
impossible to even come up with a clear cut winner. Bellotti, you're right. Like
2000s.
yeah, like I do.
Well,
So
where
we
do you
might have
stop?
to do
You
a
stop-
2000,
You do what? 2000, 2010?
yeah,
2009.
2009, 2000, 2009.
Oh, okay.
So we might
All
have
right,
to do a
interesting.
2000s. We might have to continue.
I would do it.
There
just
are
for the-
some good movies in the 2000s.
I know. I just feel like there's no juggernaut though.
That's why it might
That's
be
why it
an
might be
even
fun.
better
It
Yeah.
might be more of a bloodbath.
Yeah.
I
It
think.
might be a bloodbath. The
We should
Bourne
definitely do it.
movies,
Well
the
done.
Fast and Furious.
Wow, I can't even start thinking
I
about
know,
that.
I know.
That's
I don't,
like
wanna, I don't
shit.
want to blow up your brains yet, but I've had so much fun in the 80s and 90s that I feel like we might have to continue the
Keep
genre.
the train running.
I guarantee that no one picked these final four.
well, speaking
The
of
Final
which,
Four, yes, excuse me, before you get into that, I know where you're going,
Yeah.
Ivan. To recap the Final Four,
Yeah.
it was The Matrix, Total Recall, Hard Target, and T2 Judgment Day
oh my god,
as your Final Four. Those
think-
are the 4 films.
I think 3 of the 4 were picked by a lot of people.
well, see, so let's do.
yeah, did anyone get close, Imran?
We'll find out in news from the nation. Here we
I'm
go.
beginning with that Hard Target. It's gonna make me laugh for a while.
News from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
1 second, Imran. Before you get into news, I got to say my biggest upset was Hard Target beating Face Off. I had no problem with it beating Mission Impossible, Starship Troopers.
That was rough.
But it beating Face Off, like, almost had me fall over in my seat.
That was a rough one. I don't know.
I think me and Ruggs were both in shock when that happened.
I initiated
Yeah.
that. And,
That's the best part too. Is Ruggs was trying to author all these upsets and like really fuck things, and then he gets the movie he really loves fucked over.
as expected.
Karma.
Yeah,
Go
it's
ahead.
karma, but
Go
it's all
ahead,
right.
Imran.
The mullet,
I'll be all
the
right.
mullet hypnotized me, and that was a fucked up,
Punching the fucking snake.
fucked up fucking stage there. Okay,
What
so
is a snake?
back to the Final Four. Look, there was an interactive component to all this bullshit. We put it out in our Facebook group. I mentioned it on the show that if the listener could pick the Final Four and you got it right, you won like a props. You won a no prize. You won a big congrats from us. But if you also got it right and you were on our Patreon, we're going to send you a T-shirt. I have some entries here, and as soon
Who
as
was the closest?
well, here we're gonna find out. I'm just gonna read them off real quick. There's a couple of favorites. Jess Rivera said T2, The Matrix, Rush Hour, The Rock. So 50%, right?
Yeah.
Lisa Morrison, T2, Point Break, Matrix, Mission Impossible. Jamie Robinson, T2, Bad Boys, Mission Impossible, Lethal Weapon 4. Blake Braden, T2, Con Air, Demolition Man, Matrix. Most people getting T2 in The Matrix. John Campbell, T2, Matrix, Con Air, Bad Boys. Benjamin Wesley Cranford, T2, Face Off, Matrix, The Crow. Austin Lee Jones, T2, Demolition Man, The Matrix, Con Air. Ray O'Neill, Universal Soldier, Face Off, True Lies, The Matrix. And then William Salgado just gave us 3, Matrix, Bad Boys, Blade. So nobody got more than 2.
A lot of love for Bad Boys.
If someone would have got 3, I would have been like, we can give them the shirt.
I think, yes. I think the 2 were like a gimme. The other 2 were going to be crazy wild
Surprised
cards.
no one would have picked Total Recall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm really
no
surprised
Total
by that.
Recalls.
No, I didn't think Hard Target, obviously, anyone would pick. But
No
then
one's
again, some of
gonna
those
pick
picks, some of those picks people made were a little questionable.
But
But,
thanks
Total
for
Recall.
thanks for sending in your picks. That was fun.
You know, why don't we just do a people who submitted picks? Let's just do a random raffle.
Yeah,
we'll
put
do a
names in
raffle.
the hat.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll throw a name. We'll pick it out on the next show, or we could do it on the Discord.
Sure.
Oh, that's a good idea. If you're there.
Yeah, we'll pick the people that got 50%. You got to get at least 50.
Okay.
You got to have picked The Matrix and Judgment Day.
Okay. So that's a couple of people. We'll sort all that out. Do a random pick. Somebody's getting a T-shirt. Wow, amazing.
Geek boner.
Anthony, thank you for hosting this, putting this all together. That was a fucking journey and a half. John Bellotti, thanks for joining us. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Why, yes, I do, Emron. I have a big thing to plug. I've partnered with Subaraya Productions to make officially licensed Ultraman merchandise.
Oh,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
I signed the
shit.
contract back in October. I kept it under wraps. And I have my first Ultraman t-shirt hopefully coming out by end of January. We'll
that's
see.
amazing. Congratulations.
Awesome.
That's amazing. So officially licensed Ultraman
Officially
merch.
licensed
Holy shit.
t-shirts. I'll be, I think, the only person in the Western Hemisphere doing the kind of shirts that I'll be doing.
That's amazing. You get one, you know more are going to come in, dude. That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to be great.
Yeah, thank you. I
amazing.
broke the news this weekend, and the reception is like, holy shit! I got to get more. I got to get shirts made soon.
Where
because
can people find this?
They'll be able to get them on my website, robo7.com, robo7.com. I'll sell them on my my online shop, and I don't want to say too much yet, but I'm not going to say it yet.
Okay,
But
that's
other
big news.
other people will be carrying the shirts.
Oh, okay. You let us know where we can get them. We'll spread the word. That's fucking
amazing,
Hopefully,
man. That's a huge deal.
you could buy them from Target. That's
that
the
would
dream.
be
but
wow. That would be amazing.
if any of you know someone out there, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to settle for Hot Topic.
Big box. You got to get in the big box. That's fucking huge news, bro. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Congrats.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank you.
Rugs, where
that's
can the
big
listener
thing.
find you online?
You can find me on, I guess, Twitter at reallyRugboy.com.
That's his Twitter handle.
At really rugboy. No.
How many drinks in every?
I
I just
know.
caught what you said.
Somebody's paying
I
attention.
caught it before you did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really right.
Rugboy.com.
He's a couple of high noons in.
I was
It's
like, what am I
good.
saying?
Thanks for making it. Thanks for listening. Share this show. Thanks for coming on this journey. Thanks for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
We will peep you next time. Happy New Year.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's really good.
Really good.